He's just prancing all over the place, you know. We're ready. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call this special meeting to order. This is our final budget reading, and it is September 25th of 2025. The time is 6:06 p.m. I'm going to start with Madam Clerk. If you please do a roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Lisa King DeVito.
Present.
Commissioner William B.J. Laurie.
Present.
Commissioner Linda Moore.
Here.
Commissioner Cynthia Burton.
Here.
City Manager Derek Martin.
Here.
A city attorney, and I'm gonna try and pronounce this, Leo Villegas.
Villegas.
Okay. Good evening. Assistant City Manager, CRA Manager Christina Marie. Here. Putnam County Sheriff's Office, Major David Ussery.
Here.
Putnam County Sheriff's Office Attorney Alex Sharp.
Here.
Finance Director Stephen Conklin.
Here.
Payroll Accounts Payable Department Sheila Walker. Code Enforcement Officer Pamela Taylor.
Present.
Public Works Director Keith Harris.
He will be here.
Crescent City Natural Gas Director David Frank.
Here.
Crescent City Fire Chief Joe Razor.
Here.
City Manager Derek Martin.
Here again.
Okay, I just want to make sure I called you. I didn't recall that. And Mayor Myers.
Yes, present. Thank you very much. And with that, Commissioner Moore, if you would please lead us in our invocation this evening. If you stand if you are able.
Bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, once again, we want to thank you for allowing us to come together. We thank you for your grace and your mercy. We thank you for waking us up to a brand new day, one we've never seen before, we won't see again. We give you honor and praise. And Lord, we ask that you be with us tonight as we make those decisions that are needed for our city. We ask that you help us to agree and disagree in unity and love, because we know that with unity, there is strength. So we ask you to be with us, guide us, continue to give us knowledge and understanding that we might be able to do thy will. All these blessings we do ask in your Jesus' name. Amen.
And the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. I don't think that we have no announcements for this evening unless anybody has an announcement. I know we've got the Rotary members here, several Rotary members, and I bet you are still trying to sell tickets to Swine and Wine. Y'all can race to whichever one. I don't know if it's a competition that you have for that, but please, but if it is, you're all free game. You have one? Yes, ma'am.
I'm looking for the concerned citizens of Crescent City will be doing a fundraiser on Saturday. They'll be selling the chicken and ribs for all
Where is
dinners on
that going to
Saturday.
be?
It's gonna be out there in.
Okay, so that's gonna be part of our vintage market, so that is one thing, the Downtown Partnership is doing the 2-day vintage market this weekend. You can see them starting to get ready. I've seen, one tent already pop up and get their stuff out there. They've decorated the windows, they look great. So it should be a beautiful weekend. We hope that, that storm that's out there, that it just kind of goes. And that everybody has a great time, and the hours are from 9 to 3, 9 to 3 both days? 9 to 3 both days, so please come out if you can, okay? Anything else?
Well, I just noted, the Turner's building does, a big furniture sale as part of the vintage market
Yes.
down the hill at Central and Prospect? Right.
Yeah.
So,
They're at Central and Prospect, they have a big blue tent.
and that's part of it.
Yes, and they've been working on that, I know, for at least a week now. So, and they're gonna open up early, they're opening it up early tomorrow, okay? Early bird gets some work. Okay, with that, I'm gonna open up, if it's okay, we've got public comments at this time. I do have one speaker. This is for Elizabeth Gomez. If you would please come forward, state your name, your address, if you will. I'm not gonna read you all the.
Good evening, Elizabeth Gomez, 19 Cedar Street. I want to say congratulations to Mayor Ulysses. I never can say his last name, but Mayor, while you were going up the ladder, I was getting in trouble on Cedar Street. I got no trespassing. I got sheriff telling me not to bother people at the park, when they stay in there during the day. I didn't know anything about it. This week, when I got up to walk the trail at 8 a.m., somebody pinched a tent at the arbory, the bird arbory, and I was pretty upset, to say the least. So I called the sheriff and I told them, in the past, I was told not to bother anybody because they have the right to enjoy the trail like I enjoy it, but come on, at 8 in the morning, they're sleeping. I knock, hey, good morning, you're not supposed to be there, it's part of public policy, not sleeping at the park. I try to be nice to them. And in the past, I was told to come back at night. I don't want to be a vigilante for this town. I want these people to be my friends, so I don't want to be after them. And since you are the mayor and now you're gonna head the whole Putnam County, I'm just giving you words of advice that I learned from a store manager that I worked for Walmart for 25 years. The grounds of your town are part of how your town is perceived. I don't know how you can do this, give tasks, or maybe when sheriffs come on duty, why don't you police these places that are known to be a problem for homelessness? That way I don't get in trouble or other people get in trouble, and just make it part of your routine. My store manager used to police the grounds of the store before he came in the store at 7 a.m. because the grounds were part of his job. He would check if there were empty pallets, if there were trash, if there were cargoes, anything like that. And thank you for all your help, Mayor, Commissioner Lisa DeVito, because I was so upset I, reached out to the two of you. And Captain Ulysses, I know you have tried to help me in the past, but I knew things were going well for you. I tried calling you before I got in trouble and there was no answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Captain Usry, I think she was referring to you as, it sounded as mayor, but it was major, so.
Major.
Major. That, so I didn't know when she said that, I'm like, did I get a different title? So, I understand. And thank you, Liz. And Liz did have pictures of that, and they did have a tent. I went by there last night, I guess probably about 7:30. And they were not there, but there were a lot of families. I was pleased to see on Lake Stella, on the trail, there were several families with children. And there was one gentleman, he was sleeping on the park bench, on one of the picnic, or he wasn't sleeping, I apologize, he was laid out, but he wasn't sleeping. But it was, I was just pleased to see a lot of families there, so that was, but Liz, thank you so much, and Liz is very good about patrolling that area and keeping people in check, and as long as she stays safe.
It sounds like she really doesn't like that job.
She doesn't.
That's what it sounds like to
Yeah,
me.
she doesn't. She would really like, I think, for our sheriff's office to have that job. And again, this is something that we, the commission, we talked about back and forth. We do know that we have in our ordinance, there should be no sleeping in the parks. We did do that, overnight sleeping. We can't do anything with them during the day, but overnight sleeping, we did put that in an ordinance.
Did
I
we ever
believe so.
pass that?
I thought we did. I know we got the language from, the land, and that was several years ago, I thought.
Well, it was several years ago, but I do not recall us actually enacting anything.
Okay, well, we need to look at that because I thought we did when I read through it, so I'll ask Pam.
Well, I guess we have Unicode now, we can
Yeah, it
search.
should be on Unicode.
But actually that came to my mind and, after Ms. Gomez contacted me with photos, I contacted the sheriff's dispatch and then Deputy McCraney contacted me. He said they would patrol more. And I forwarded that information to our city manager because I will just share with y'all, there are a significant number of people sleeping in various public places here. And there's really two issues, and I shared this with the city manager. Several people have told me in the past few weeks that they were aware of people sleeping at Eagle Lion Park and that they knew who they were and they told me to lock their doors. And I told the neighbors because they were apparently people known to have a criminal background, which is scary. So, and the second issue is, and you may have heard me speak about this at the delegation meeting as an individual, we do have a problem in South Putnam because the resources from the state level and the continuum of care are not reaching South Putnam, and we can't fix that right now. But it's a serious issue, and the churches absolutely do not have the resources to handle that.
Well, and a lot of, quite a few of these, it's there because they want to be there. I mean, that's something too, that's a problem that we can't,
Well,
so,
I wouldn't
well, we're not gonna,
get into that,
let's
but
not get into that tonight. We've got,
Right.
we've got other things, but Liz, we do appreciate you bringing that to our attention. We're sorry you had to go through that, and, just be safe out there, please. Just be safe.
Mayor, if I may, I just want to clear the record there. It is in our media code. We do have it in our media code. I can see it right here. Yes, ma'am, and I can forward it to you
I
all.
thought we did, I thought that we approved that.
Yes.
We approved language, so it's unlawful for them to sleep at night in the park.
Yeah, it's under section 2042, in our mini code under section I for loitering and disorderly conduct. This shall be unlawful for any person in a park to sleep or proactively lounge on seats or benches in vehicles or other areas.
right, but I mean, now it's state law as well.
It is state law, so. Okay, do we have, anybody else that would like to speak at this time? Please come forward. Seeing no one come forward, I'm gonna close public comments and we're gonna go to our public hearing. I'm gonna turn this over to you. This is our second and final reading of resolution 2025-06.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. So I gave you all a cover letter. The proposed millage rate, of course, is 8.7164 mils per 1,000 in taxable value, which represents a 0% increase over the rollback rate of 8.7164 mils. Hard copies of the city's proposed budget have been made available in the City Hall and on the city website. Copies have also been distributed to the city commission. Furthermore, the work sessions that we've held go over the operating budget, capital improvement program, and these work sessions provided an opportunity for the city commission and the public to have open discussion on what's being proposed and to recommend changes. Staff recommends the adoption of resolution 2025-06, setting the millage rate for FY '26, so we can move forward with adopting.
Okay, can I have someone read the title, please? Leah, do you want to, or Derek?
I can read it, yes, ma'am. Resolution 2025-06, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Crescent City, Putnam County, Florida, adopting final operating millage rate for the purpose of levying of ad valorem taxes for the City of Crescent City, Putnam County for fiscal year 2025-26, and providing for scrivener's errors.
Okay. Do I have a entertainment motion, please?
I move that we approve resolution 2025-06.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a proper motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Mayor, was in the second whereas clause, there was still, in my version, the typo in the third line that says at the end, Crescent City Resolution number 2054-04. We talked about that
Is that your
previously.
second line?
It's the third line of the second whereas clause.
Mine says
Mine's,
2025.
If the clerk may.
yeah.
Yes.
I have the revised, resolution, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
That
so
has
that,
since been
that's
corrected
been
per
fixed.
Commissioner DeVito.
okay. All right, because that was just a persistent, word processing thing. Okay, that's done. Good.
Okay.
No, I heard smoke detector.
I heard it too.
Well, does someone need to?
No, it was just the battery.
Oh, the low battery,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Any other discussion, commissioners? Okay, I'm gonna open it up for public comment. Do we have any public comment on this, please? Come forward. I do want to also state that this was advertised in the paper as it was required, so we had proper advertisement in the paper. I believe it was Saturdays, was it
Yes,
Saturdays, this past Saturday's paper, so it fell within the guidelines of the statute. Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you do a roll call for us, please.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
Nay.
Mayor Myers.
Okay, so approved.
All right, next, we have our second and final reading of ordinance 2025-10, amending the budget for fiscal year 24-25. An ordinance of the City of Crescent City, Florida, amending the budget for fiscal year 2024-2025, providing for administrative action, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, do I have a entertainment motion?
I move that we adopt, ordinance 2025-10, the budget amendment for the fiscal year 2024-25 general fund.
Okay, do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, we have a proper motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Mayor, I just have two comments. One, just to make sure that the clerk has it. I think, I mentioned to the city manager that the rolled up attachment did not actually say Schedule A. The ordinance says we're adopting a Schedule A. And so hopefully the clerk has the Schedule A version that we're gonna vote on. And my main observation, I think we discussed this in a budget workshop, but it did not jump out at me the way it did when we have this on second reading. And I think that our staff has done a fine job, but there's one thing here that concerns me, just the way it is presented. When you look at the excess deficit column, there's a deficit for every section of the budget in the general fund. And the total of that, those budget section deficits comes out to 202,825, which is $30,000 more than the carryover amount that we're adding to the budget, $173,000. So, the city manager explained to us verbally that the whole budget is not in that much deficit because there are other line items that, that balance that out, that can be used, that is not.
Just like the one above it for the, building repair, I know that we've reduced the amount that we would be using in building repair, so.
Right, so there are some amounts elsewhere, but what I just want to share my thoughts with all of you and with the city manager. To me, something like this, when members of the public see it, this is all they have. So it really does call for a narrative to go with it, to explain it. We want people to be confident in what they're seeing. And, you know, I think it would be helpful if we have a memo that goes out. I don't know if we want to put it in the water bill or where. But, you know, just something like this needs more explanation than just verbal in a meeting. It really needs to be heard.
Well, even if they wanted to, I do agree, I agree with you, to have some verbiage so that we have some explanation for transparency purposes.
Right, because they're making a balance, that's good, and they told us about it, but not everyone is going to, you know, look, in fact, not all of our meeting actually was recorded because of the owl had a cold or something. But anyway, it needs a narrative, it needs an explanation, so that people have, as you said, for transparency.
And I think
If I may also, Commissioner, and thank you for pointing that out to me. In the rush of it, of course, digital version and what went online has that narrative in a cover letter. I was not able to print it in time for you before tonight, and I apologize about that, but I will give you a copy. The public does have a copy. The current budget surplus, if you were to go in the entire general budget, is at $219,207. The unfavorable budget variance, if you add all of the whole budget together, is actually at a negative or $28,057 of unfavorable variance. So your total amount in favorability or a surplus would actually be $191,150. The 202 that you see is actually the total deficits if you were to add up each line item, but it doesn't encompass the entirety of the budget. I put that information in a spreadsheet or in a cover letter, and I also included it in the spreadsheet that you have in front of you.
Right, but just, Mayor, if I just could follow up, my concern is that when you have something like this posted online, somebody can look at this and print it out. If you don't have an asterisk or a footnote that says, please see, you know, there is not a total general fund deficit.
Correct.
You do not want people to get the wrong impression, and you want them to know where to go for all of the information.
Yes, ma'am.
I know this is a surprise, but there will be some that will use this on Facebook without anything attached to it.
Okay.
And so, like, sometimes you get a portion of the truth. And so that's
Yes,
why I think Commissioner DeVito is being so cautious about this.
Well, it just,
Because we don't want that, because it could be spun
Right.
a certain way.
and it's not even so much spinning, people who are not on staff don't have a lot of time, they see, you know, it's just like you skim the newspaper.
Correct.
And you just wanna make sure that they have comfort, that they're not calling City Hall or calling, you know, you just wanna make sure that it's easy for them to have the whole picture.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and certainly you don't want people attacking.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you might want to do,
And I have the updated
in
one
the final document, do,
up on the internet as well, so we have the narrative and the spreadsheet that's updated digitally.
is it on this actual, is it attached? I mean, is it part of this page?
It is, yes, it is part of that page, and there's a cover letter to go with it.
Do we have any other discussion? Down here, everybody good? Okay, I'm gonna open it up to public comment this time. If there's anyone that would like to come and speak on this, please step forward, state your name, your address. Okay, seeing no one come forward, I'm gonna close public comment. Madam Clerk, if you would please do a roll call.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Commissioner Woody,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Burton, Mayor Myers.
Aye. So adopted on the second reading. So now we're going to move on to the second final reading of ordinance 2025-11, which is our amended fee schedule, if you would please.
Yes, ma'am. Second final reading of ordinance 2025-11, amending the fee schedule in the ordinance of the city of Crescent City, Florida, amending the schedule fees to be charged by the city of Crescent City for noise, natural gas, general reproduction services, business tax receipts, planning and zoning, special events, parks, code enforcement, water, wastewater, providing for repeal of prior fee ordinances and resolutions in conflict severability and effective date.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve ordinance 2025-11 on its second reading.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a proper motion and a second. Commissioners, do we have any discussion on this?
I just have one comment if I may.
Yes.
I know that some fees in here, the utility fees, we really do not have a choice, in raising. We have to, our utilities have to be self-supporting. I do wish that we were not raising the, business tax fee. I know it's a difference of opinion. Obviously, we have expenses in the city to keep up with it, but it is a tax on, on businesses, especially, sole proprietors. But generally, good job.
Any other comments? I don't know how many of you watch local news. I get all the flesh from here to as far south as it can travel. And when you watch it, especially in the evenings, it's all communities, it seems as if they're going through a lot of what we've gone through this year. And with their enterprise funds, they've had to raise them, there's a lot of outcry from residents. But at the same time, in order to keep those services going and staying strong, they've had to do this. But it just seems like every municipality, even last night, it was talking about those that had to go through and we're having to actually, we're fortunate to be able to accept our rollback. Because so many of the communities around this area have not been so fortunate. But we're not alone out there. I know we feel like we are, but I think all leaders in communities right now are facing a lot of what we're facing. It's a hard decision. It's a difficult decision. But in order to provide the services at the level that, our residents deserve. So, and thank you all for doing this.
I do have one more thing that I just want to say again, since we are voting on the utility increases. I think that it would be very helpful to our utility customers, particularly within city limits, if we could do an evaluation of how many lots and homes we have that are served by utilities. These are buildable lots that are ready to go for probably most of them gas and water, many of them for sewer. And other cities have developed strategies to address problems like that. If we had more customers, then we would be spreading the cost over more people. It would help our utilities greatly. And I think we could help ourselves by developing some strategies there to get unoccupied residential lots. And of course, the businesses are a whole another issue, occupied. And then we would have people contributing to the shared cost of it.
Well, and it's a big picture too. So as you do that, you have development, so your ad valorem taxes go up as well. So there'd be more ad valorem.
Well, that would be positive.
Yes, that would be positive. So I
Absolutely.
think that's what I'm saying, is that, so it shares that cost also. So
Absolutely.
that's why I say it's a big picture, it would affect all of this budget.
Absolutely, and you can drive down the street in any given neighborhood and just see a lot where a house used to be, and there could be a home. And some have been filled in, but there's many more.
So with that, I'm gonna open up public comment if the commission has no other comments at this time. I'm gonna open up public comment. Please come forward, state your name and your address if you will.
Elizabeth Gomez, 19 Cedar Street, and I'm part of the public, and I just want to say that since I moved here almost 4 years ago and have come to the town hall meetings, I see where the predicament that all of you go through and all the races are represented. I think I'm the minority here, Puerto Rican, maybe there's 2% of us here, but I don't mind, and I'm poor. I am, but I am very happy because I live here and you can live, very nice in this little town with, if you are good with money. But I appreciate everything you guys do, thank you. And I don't mind paying more taxes. I don't mind paying, for the security that you guys give us. I'm willing to pay whatever it takes, and I hope other citizens feel the same way, because it's true what the mayor said, that a lot of towns are going through the same problem we are. If we unite, and being a small little town, we all know each other and we know how hard it is. We all know everybody's background. So we know you guys are doing the best you can. Thank you.
Maybe anybody else come forward? Seeing no one come forward, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna close public comment at this time. We currently have a proper motion on ordinance 2025-11. Madam Clerk, if you would please do a roll call.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
Nay.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. So adopted on the second reading. Okay, we're gonna go to our second and final reading of ordinance number 2025-09, approving and fixing the budget. I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, second and final reading of ordinance number 2025-09, approving and fixing the budget. Ordinance providing for approving and fixing the budget, setting the millage levy at 8.7164, allowing for general operations of the city and its various departments, approving and fixing budgets for special funds and debt service for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2026.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve on the second reading ordinance number 2025-09.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a proper motion and a second. Commissioners, do we have any discussion?
I just have a couple of comments.
Okay,
Ma'am, I think there's a lot of good things in this budget. I thought we had a good debate over the budget, but there are a lot of reasons to increase it. And I particularly think that our new city manager, who came in June, when the budget really should have been pretty much done, did a remarkable job getting up to speed and giving us a budget with millage choices. So I want to thank him for that. I do think that going forward, we need to make sure that our budget, as we develop it, as we go forward, that we align it with our strategic plan and or vision, because I think in many places in this budget, we are, rarely in the development budget do we take out our strategic plan and look at it. And now the budget, in some ways, as amended, is not aligned with our strategic plan. And generally, that's how budget should be, is aligned. We have added 1.5 positions in administration, and when you look at the pie charts, and I calculated this before, our administrative costs are now as much as our law enforcement costs. I think that we have not done ourselves a favor by making very large mid-year budget adjustments, because this is something I've said before, it keeps us from looking at the big picture. And one thing I hope we will keep track of as the year goes along, is setting goals and priorities and doing some forecasting, asking our staff to forecast for us. Where are we going with the the personnel expenses and other very fixed expenses in future years. I think we need to keep that in front of us so that, we can do well in the future and not get caught in a pinch. So that's just my comments, but I thought we had some great budget discussions and I appreciate everyone's work.
Do you have any other comments? Commissioner DeVito, thank you for that, but I will say this, I disagree with you on that with our personnel, because we must have good people in order to run the city. And
I agree.
And so we have to, and I think as we move forward and we lose certain people, that we're going to have to really look at this even more so.
Right.
But, you're only as good as the people that, that are working here and operating everything. And so I feel like we're doing the best we can to try to take care of our employees. And I'm very proud of what we've done in the last couple of years to try to bring them up to where they can have a decent living. So anyway, with
And
that.
I'm not speaking just to raises, but I think, and our staff can help us with this. We need to look at, the position descriptions. We never did approve those. We started that. Of course, we've had, city manager turnover. We had interim for quite a long time. We need a 60,000 foot level to see what is it we want to accomplish and what's the best way to do it. And I agree, you have to pay people, they work very hard.
They do. So they do. A lot is expected of them. Just like this evening, I did give our city manager, I tested his heart just to see how it was. He made it. He survived. Just with some of the numbers, but he did. And so, but they do work very hard. They're very dedicated. And, anytime I talk to them, that is the one thing they say, is that they care about the city, just like our sheriff's office. And I will say, I'm very proud too of what we've done with our law enforcement here. I wasn't bellied up to the bar, in case anybody saw me standing there. I was trying to pay a bill at Three Bananas, and some ladies were sitting there, and they were eating and talking, and I just was standing there, and I overheard them say they live here in Crescent City, and she said to the other one that I guess her husband had died, but she says, I don't even lock my door at night. And she says, I feel so safe living here. I didn't say where they were in Crescent City, but she said, I feel so safe living here in this town. I'm so happy my husband moved us here before, and I just, that just gave me just such a sense of pride that, and we here at the commission, we need to, recognize that's because, we made sure that public safety is our number one. And, I just listened and paid my bill and went about my way. So, but if anybody saw me standing there, no, I was not bellied up there. I was just waiting to pay a bill. With that, so we have no further discussion on this?
May I add one thing here?
Yes.
Commissioner DeVito brought up about aligning the budget with our overall, plan, our master plan, our strategic plan, our vision. The deputy city manager and myself are actually going to be working together in the next couple of weeks to come up with a actual year out schedule to show you how we're going to be aligning with that plan and how we're going to be tackling things within the CRA, as well as our Better Place plan dates and times and cost of what we're going to be doing and what our goals are going to be. So you'll be getting that probably sometime in October or November at the latest.
Okay. Thank you. The one thing I will say that I did question with this, and that is over in our CRA. We had made some notes to move some of the dollars around, and I'm not sure that they were moved. So as we go forward with this, we just need to make sure that in case those were, and that was in the improvement projects, there's still the 29,000 in there. I thought we were taking that down to 15,000. And then taking that, I see that you increased over, that when you went into that you increased over into the housing rehabilitation grants by a little bit. But it's there and it's into the redevelopment grants too. So if we have to later on, just keep an eye on that, please. But the numbers did change. It just, I thought that based on my notes, it was supposed to come down to 15,000. So,
And Mayor, thank you for that, because that was an important goal. I think our CRA manager said that, the monies that we proposed moving could be well used. So, we want to get with that. Would we have to actually, can we move the money by resolution, or do we have to do an, amendment to the budget ordinance?
we would have to, I believe we'd have to do an amendment to the budget ordinance. I'm not sure, we'll have to find out. I don't know if we have to do it through resolution or amendment, that as we go forward, if she finds with that fund, just keep an eye on that. The same thing is in the north. The improvement projects, we still have 18,000 in there. We did raise it up to the 25, because we had talked about that, raising that back up to the 50,000 in the housing rehabilitation, because there are several houses there. The 212,435, we need to keep in mind that we've already obligated 17.5 that's gonna come out of that next year, because it's not coming out this year. So that's just, as we go forward, we just need to make sure that we, keep an eye on that.
And to answer your question, as long as the number that's in the fund stays the same, the city commission can write a motion, to change those line items.
Right, but Mayor, thank you so much, because that North CRA, that housing area, we talked about how important it would be to, do some rehabilitation and bring that area up.
That is. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up for public comment. Do we have any public comment? Please come forward. Okay. Seeing no one, come forward, I'm gonna close public comment. Commission, this is it. This is our final budget. So no other comments. I'm gonna do a roll call. Do you have anything? No? No? Okay, do a roll call.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Number 2025-12, the Sexual Offender and Sexual Predator Act, an ordinance of the City of Crescent City, Florida, creating Section 18-9 in the Code of Ordinance of Crescent City, Florida, to be known as the Crescent City Sexual Offender and Sexual Predator Act, providing findings, intent, definitions, and residency requirements, authorizing collection of registration fees, prohibiting presence, loitering, or prowling within child safety zones, with exceptions, restricting participation in Halloween activities with an exception, prohibiting cohabitation of offenders, establishing accountability and for property owners, landlords, and lessors, requiring notice for temporary emergency shelters, providing penalties for violations, providing applicability and severability, and providing for an effective date. I gave you all the revised version that Mr. Alex Sharp provided before this meeting. So what's in your book is not going to be updated, and what's in your digital file will not be updated. The paper is the latest and greatest. And we actually have Mr. Alex Sharp here to discuss any questions that you may have.
Do you want to, before we, I entertain a motion, do you want to go ahead and just give a briefing on this and what we're doing here?
I would love
And
to.
welcome, Mr. Sharp. Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. Alex Sharp, General Counsel, Putnam County Sheriff's Office, 130 Horry Griffin Boulevard, Black, Florida. This is a continuation of an effort on the Sheriff's Office and the Sheriff's project to ensure that we don't become an area where it attracts people that are sexual offenders and sexual predators. I don't know if you guys remember, there was an incident a few months back. We discovered a trailer park that was basically almost all inhabited by sexual offenders or sexual predators, which is against statute. A little more research into that, we discovered that most of our registered sex offenders in Putnam County are not local. I would say fairly accurately, over 50 to 60% of them are coming from out of areas, other counties and so forth. Putnam right now was before we passed the ordinance, one of the only counties in North Florida that had no restrictions on sexual offenders. Since it's a state statute for them to register and have certain restrictions on where they can live, like near schools and everything like that, this is a statute that the state put out that's not preempted. It actually allows the county or the municipality to enact a more stricter guideline, and that's what we've done here. Clay, St. John's, Flagler, Marion, they all have stricter guidelines around us. So you can see what would happen as somebody is shopping for a residence. We would like the county's ordinance to become Crescent City's ordinance, not just your municipality, but all the municipalities. So it's easier for, we're in charge of them. They have to come register with the sheriff's office. But this would enable us to have one uniform set of rules across the entire county that we can enforce. Otherwise, depending on which if the municipality doesn't adopt it, then we've got to go back and look at the statute and figure, and we just want one set of rules for the deputies out there and our enforcement to be able to address issues. And for the general population and the sex offenders as well. So that's my pitch to you, and I'm here to answer any questions.
I'll entertain a motion, if I can.
Can I ask a question, Mayor?
Yeah.
What other municipalities have signed on to this so far?
You are my first. However, I am on the agenda for Interlochen and Pomona Park, and City of Palaca is also in the works. They're supposed to have a first reading at the City of Palaca. So I'm trying to do this as fast and feasible. I don't want to do too fast, but I want it to get done so that we're not left hanging out there.
Thank you for coming here and sharing this with us.
You are most welcome, sir.
I move that we approve ordinance number, what is the number?
2025-12.
Okay, -12.
I'll second that.
We have a proper motion and a second. So do we have some questions? Do we have any discussion, commissioners?
I do have a question, Your Honor, if that's all right. You had attached the number 12 to this as section 12. I wasn't sure where you wanted to put it into the scheme of your ordinances. Does that fit in where it's at? Because there is language in here. I had it in section 18, I believe.
Correct.
No, that part's fine. What they're saying is it's our ordinance 2020, I'm sorry, Mayor, I didn't ask you that.
Go ahead. No, that's okay.
Okay, it's, our ordinances are numbered sequentially.
There we go.
So we're adopting the sequential ordinance, you're the 12th ordinance.
Number 12.
Right, and,
By year and by number.
right, but I looked, we don't have anything in section 18-9. I think ultimately it's up to Unicode, isn't that right? Like, I don't know.
Well, I tried to pick something that would be
Right.
in accordance. That's where you have your criminal ordinances.
Right.
There was no 18.9, there was an 18.8. So I said, well, naturally, let's make it 18.9.
Right, but I think Unicode is the final word.
Yeah.
Or we send it, if we had no code whatsoever, Unicode would find it, but thank you for doing that. Mayor, I have a couple of observations. There's still a couple of typos. I understand from Mr. Sharp that this is basically just adapted to Crescent City from the county ordinance. There's still a couple of places where we need to make sure it doesn't say board, that it says commission. I think 1, 2, 3 in the 4th whereas clause, and then in the very first whereas clause, it says, whereas the city commissioners of Crescent City, Florida, maybe that should be commission. Yeah, there's a few little things, and then I think on the very That,
Let's go ahead and do that now while we're here so we can get this done, so we're doing. the
Okay.
first
I
reading.
knew about the fourth one you were talking about, Ms. DeVito. I actually have it highlighted in my copy. I missed it. Did I miss some other sections?
I think so, I'm just going through in the order I originally did it, and the city manager gave me a revised copy of the very first whereas clause. Says the city commissioners of Crescent City, Florida, so I think that should be city commission, would that be right? And then going down to the fourth whereas clause, the very first line, it says the board believes, would that not be the commission?
I am open to whatever you want. Would it be
Well-
quicker and more expedient if you just simply took the Word document and highlighted the changes you wanted?
Well, I mean, we're about to pass an ordinance, so we have to
It's-
say what the changes are. I mean, our clerk is in charge of this now, correct? City manager?
Correct.
Not right,
Yeah.
Mayor, don't we just have to go through and make our changes that we have to agree on?
And then we'll,
And then
yeah,
we'll
then
make
we're gonna
those.
have to amend our
Right.
original motion with changes.
Right, and so, and if anybody else has anything, I thought the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I mean, these aren't really, 6, it says where the registration process consumes county resources. I think county is correct,
Where are
because
you? Where are you?
in the 5th whereas clause, 1,
6
2, 3, 4, 5, no, 6th whereas clause, I think it's appropriate to have county resources there because the sheriff's department as a whole
Yes.
is the one that polices this. I'm gonna assume that,
Well, they're the ones that have to do the fees and.
right, that's what I'm
We
saying,
don't do that.
they do the registration, so I think county is the right word there. Then on the second page, under recitals, the city of Crescent City Commissioners, I think that should be commission, again, hereby adopts the above recitals. And probably our clerk is gonna have to go through, I would just, as an amendment, would say, you know, they would just make sure that it reads grammatically. And then also on the very, very last page, it still says, in section 4, effective date, and this would be a question for our city attorney in part. Mr. Sharp said we don't need that line about the ordinance shall take effect on its being filed with the Department of State, because as a municipality, we don't do that. So we would just take that out.
No, I've actually amended it and presented an amended language in there. The amended language should have, this ordinance shall take effect upon its final passage, having been signed by the mayor of the city of Crescent City, Florida, and duly recorded by the city clerk in a book designated for such purposes. There's a specific statute. You're different than a county, apologies. You're under 120, you're under 166, they're under 126.
Right, so by way of amendment, could we just say to insert the appropriate language in section 4 for enactment? Would that do?
Yeah.
Okay, and, I don't know if has been enacted, whatever that says, City, Crescent City, Florida, Commissioners of Putnam County. And it, okay, I don't know, something needs to be done, with the form of that passed and enacted sentence as well. Because there's no space for the day. And anyway, so those were.
Yeah, on this, so it would be on commissioners for this day. I think, yes, so we can just take care of that language.
But I think the passed and enacted clause, just needs to be revised by our clerk to be the appropriate clause.
Michelle is 1L on the last page. No, I can't believe you didn't catch that.
I'm just taking notes because
Sorry.
I'm gonna have to get these with the 4 other municipalities
Yeah.
as
I
well.
was just gonna ask you that.
Okay,
Will it be
And
the
then-
same?
They're gonna get the same language, and I should have put just commission, not commissioners. This is all new
And
to
some of them
me.
might have council, I don't know, I think the number
Right,
of
yeah.
council, I
Well,
think
that
they're
can-
council,
like
they will allow their council.
And then,
They don't want
I
them
think Don handles one, and then George Young handles another.
Don handles.
And then I think Mr. Blocker is Willaca, and then Jane West is city of Willaca.
And then Nat Reynolds,
No, I've taken Matt off there. Per the statute, your city clerk just needs to attest to it.
right. I just wanna make sure, so I need some, if you would amend your motion, please.
I I would amend my motion to include the changes that we've discussed.
Your second, Commissioner Peters?
Yes, I'll second that, and then, just that, those were just technical corrections, and Mayor, I do think we should send Mr. Sharp a bill, since we helped him prepare for the other municipalities.
Well, if I can base it on what the sheriff pays me, I would be happy to, give you that. You might not get lunch at McDonald's though.
Well, that's a thought, you can treat us to pizza, but
It
anyway,
was a pretty quick correction there.
it was a lot of work. But I did look at this, I had some questions that were sent to Mr. Sharp, and I just kind of wanted to bring them forward. So one of my concerns was, where state law right now, as I understand it, says that there's a prohibition of living within 1,000 feet of certain locations where children are, like schools, and we're upping it to 2,500 feet, which is not quite half a mile, and Crescent City is very small. And my main concern was, what happens to people who are already living within 2,500 feet of a prohibited location? And I'm looking at the responses in writing that were provided to all of us by Mr. Sharp, and it says that people who already live within the further distance we would be setting would be grandfathered. And that's important because, well, right now, I found in the 32112 zip code, I found about 11 or 12 people, and there was one person, looked like an older person living in the Gumby Court apartments, which of course is near, that's well within 2,500 feet of Harry Banks Park. We have a lot of parks in Crescent City.
Yes, we do.
We'll need to make sure that when we pass this, that for all of those property managers that we have,
Yes.
that they are given a copy of this, so, Derek, if that's okay, maybe with code enforcement, that they could get that to those property managers. Each one of those has a different property manager. So that in our apartment over here also, off of Palmetto, that's something, and,
Just, Mayor, just
Zinnia?
publicity,
Yeah.
because we have a lot of individual private landlords. Now, I learned something I did not know. Mr. Sharp says that, currently landlords are supposed to check, correct?
They are.
They are supposed to check, but, we are more than doubling the distance. So, and also, Mr. Sharp said that the sheriff's office will have maps available.
We will. We do the registration. So when, just to walk you through it, if a sexual offender comes to our county and wants to live in our county, the first thing they must do within 24 hours is change that address. And they'll be going to the tax collectors, which runs our driver's license now. And we've already reached out to the tax collector and their attorney, Patrick Kennedy, and we've created flyers that addresses this and tells them that they need to check with us. We all have maps available when they come, they have to register within 24 hours with us as well. So we'll have maps to show them where they can stay and if the location that they're trying to pick is within the restricted area. One caveat on that, while they all are grandfathered in, any new law violation going forward would exempt them. So if your gentleman is living in Gumby Park and he violates a restriction, not to the living where he's at now, but some other restriction, state statute or something related to his sexual offender status, then he does fall under this ordinance.
Well,
And the thinking behind that is
So
that,
current law applies.
yes,
Okay,
it
current rules
applies.
and laws apply, okay.
right,
Good to know.
but Mayor, the thing that concerns me the most, well, one, it's important to protect our children. It's also important that we don't create unintended consequences. Mr. Sharp said he doesn't have sympathy for sexual offenders, but I certainly would not want to create a whole class of homeless sexual offenders that you can't keep up with very well. Sometimes there are just unintended consequences, but also as I understand it, there are the penalties for landlord. It's a criminal penalty, is that right?
That's correct.
Right, so I do want to make, I think your point about sharing this information, because when you say a landlord, when you're talking about a leasing agent for some of these apartment complexes, does that apply to the employee leasing agent who processes.
Well, I mean, I can't give you, it would depend on the facts and circumstances.
Right.
I mean, it would depend, they're supposed to check before they move. The person that is a registered sexual offender should be disclosing that when they're looking for residence. And, as far as a homeless sexual offender, but the law doesn't make any distinction. They have to give us an address. If they're not gonna disappear in the wind. They'll give us an address, and when we go to check there, they better be there or they're in violation. And I'm sorry, Ms. DeVito, but I do not have a lot of sympathy for people
I'm
that
not
prey on
asking-
children. Well, you mentioned it, and I just wanna get that out.
It's not a matter of sympathy, just when you want things to be done in an orderly manner, and you don't wanna create any unintended problems. And I'm not very familiar with this area of the law, so, your answers were very helpful.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have a question. How often do you check for these predators and where they are and what they're doing? And
Well, the statute has certain, I believe we have to check, don't quote me on this, but it's on a fairly regular basis. We have to go out and physically ensure that they're in the residence where they're supposed to be.
in Putnam County, what's the percentage of people that are sexual offenders?
Based on our population, or
Based on the population?
I think if we went online right now, there'd be several hundred of them. Help me out here, Major.
Now, what was the percentage?
3 in Crescent City.
There's 3 in Crescent City?
But I think we have several hundred that are scattered across the county. And again, the majority of those are people that didn't commit crimes here. They're not local people. They've moved here from other areas, South Florida or so forth, and made residence here in our county.
So there's only about 100 people that are sexual predators here in Putnam County?
Well, there's a distinction. You can be a sexual offender, which is a lighter designation, or you can be a sexual predator. I'd be happy to get that in. Sexual predator are the worst of the worst.
Yes. Yeah.
Those are the ones that are under the most heaviest restrictions.
Okay.
But I could get you those stats. I just didn't come prepared to, the only stat I had in my quiver to throw at you was they're all out of county.
Okay, thank you.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
Is there a way that you could generate them out so that we could see it?
Yes, we're already doing it for the county, so I can make that available to you and get it to your city manager so you can see the map.
I'm just interested to see how.
Okay, you can go on FDLE's website and you can check anything from your house, you can look at it, you can expand your search out, you can see the county, you'll see what every one of them are.
But I was just wondering for the new restrictions, to be able to show where in the city that is and isn't.
It's gonna be pretty restrictive. I'm not gonna, you have a lot of parks and a lot of schools,
And they're very well spread out.
and, I mean, it is an issue. There's a big recidivism rate among sexual offenders, and even more so under sexual predators. So these are people that we want to watch and monitor and not let it get out of hand. And again, we thought about making this retroactive. For one, I don't think that would have passed the legal test. And most of what you see before you, I didn't create. I took this from other counties. Miami-Dade has one of the most restricted, Miami-Dade does the 2,500 feet down there. And they've survived several federal challenges to it. And then I took bits and pieces from the surrounding counties as well. And so this is a kind of a mixed match of everything across the state of Florida.
I'm glad that you're doing it, and I'm glad that I appreciate that. I think all of our citizens appreciate knowing that we're protected.
Well, the sheriff is very passionate about this and children. He has 2 small children himself. I have a small child. I just cannot fathom people that do this. I just, one quick story. When I first came here, we did the traveling sex cases. I don't know if y'all are familiar with them. ICAT is the International Child Protection Association. They go onto these chat rooms and they pose as small children, 12-year-olds, 13-year-old girls, boys. And a local real estate agent gave us a vacant house in Palaca, in the city of Palaca, over by the golf course. And we set up shop for the weekend. And on Sunday, everybody was supposed to show up. We staggered them. 18 people from as far as Kentucky, Tennessee, even locals came to have sex with a small child. And I was just floored that in a couple of days of chatting online, these people would get in a car and drive down here to do that to a child. So, sorry.
No, and that's, just for clarification for anybody watching or anybody in the audience, it's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, when there is a law, a state law, we cannot weaken that law, we can strengthen that law. We have the ability to strengthen that law, and that's what we're doing here with the.
Yes, unless it's preempted by the state, such as firearms. The state does not allow you to have stricter guidelines on firearms. However, the sexual offender registration statutes are fair game.
It does. And the sheriff's office is doing, I don't know if any of you have followed them, but on Saturday and Sundays, you have been identifying those and making people aware of who they are and where they are. And that's the one thing, Commissioner DeVito, when you said 32112, we have, that's outside of Crescent City also. And as I've watched that, I've been very pleased to see that seldom does one pop up that is Crescent City. I might have seen maybe one, so.
Well, Mayor, that's what I said, I looked at all the addresses, and the only address, I found one.
Yeah.
The others appear to be Crescent City zip code, but not within the city limits.
And that's probably based on the fact that you have so many parks already, even with the 1,000-foot space buffer, they weren't able to find something that was in compliance. I think of that as a good thing that you have no sexual offenders within your city limits.
Of course, right, because, and Mayor, if I could, it's just, I think people forget that they can check the website, like when families move and, when your children are walking around town, we're a very walkable town. It's a good thing, I think, for everyone that they can check on the sheriff's website. And my personal observation is, I think that the reason we are having people move to Putnam County, it's not just because we don't have the 2,500-foot larger boundary. It's our housing costs are less. A lot of people are moving here because housing costs are dramatically less. And then, of course, they're leaving places that have the more difficult, the more challenging standards. So this will bring us up to the higher standard.
We always want to be the higher standard. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Sharp.
You're
Thank
very
you
welcome.
absolutely for doing this and for encouraging all of the municipalities to adopt this as well. Now, you've modeled this, I guess, it's different from the county, is that correct?
The only difference in all of the same restrictions that the county has, you will have within this. The only difference is, as Commissioner DeVito pointed out, is you're not a county commissioner, you are a city commissioner, and a little bit of different language on how it is actually passed. The minute, under the statute, it's 166 something, 04 or something like that. At the final reading, when you sign off on it, Your Honor, and the clerk attests to it, you should have a book somewhere that you keep all these in, correct?
That's right.
And it becomes enacted on that final reading and signature of yourself.
We got that. We do that.
We've got a proper motion. In a second, I'm going to open it up for for public comments. Do we have anybody from the audience that would like to come forward and speak? Seeing no one come forward and speak, I'm going to close public comments. Commissioners, do we have anything else? Commissioner Moore, Commissioner Burton, good? Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, you do a roll call for us, please.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Commissioner Morgan,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Burton, Mayor Myers.
Aye, okay, approved on the first reading to go to the second reading for adoption. I believe that will be at our
Yes.
October meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Again, Mr. Sharp, thank you so much, and
You're
thank
welcome,
you
Your Honor.
for your presentation and for the time that you spent on this.
Yes, ma'am. 400
And
is
for
the
keeping
amount in
us,
the county.
okay, 400 in the county?
Yes, ma'am.
And for keeping us safe, so thank you. Okay, with that, we're gonna close out our public hearing portion of this meeting. We're gonna go into our business items. I'm gonna go ahead, you wanna start up?
Yes, Mayor, if I may, I have an item that is not on the agenda that's an emergency that needs to be discussed, if that's okay.
Yes.
All right, Keith, if you could come up.
Well, I'm commission, is commission good with that? I need to run that by the commission. Everybody's, okay, I just wanna make sure.
Thank you, Mayor, appreciate that. As you all know, we have a project that's commencing, with the county coming through 308, doing a paving project. Keith and team, of course, with our deputy city manager, have been working a long time on making sure that we get this water extension project, CDBG, acted and moving forward. The issue is that the county ended up, moving their schedule, to start pretty rapidly. Our schedule has fallen a little bit behind that, and we need to get the water extension across the street. I have Keith, our Public Works Director here. I would like for you to come up and just explain what we've done and where we're at with that, if you could, please, sir. Looking mighty sharp, I might say as well.
That's not Keith. Where's Keith?
It's me. Yeah, as he said, the county come up and speeded the process up. We really wasn't sure. I kept trying to find out, and they called me last Friday. Mr. Stout called and said, by the way, we're starting Monday. I said, that's not good. He said, once we pave the road, you gotta do a road bore. He said, you can't cut the road. I still gotta cut the road if we do a road bore. So I made a couple phone calls. I did call DD Civil, and they were the only ones that could get here Monday, because we gotta have it in Monday. They'll start Monday morning first thing. They should be done by Wednesday, which will work out real good, because the best I know of right now, the paving crew is, from what I found out today, they're out there by the dump, so we should have
So
it.
they've moved that far already, yeah?
Yes, ma'am. So they'll mill, they're gonna start milling back at 17 tomorrow, going towards Fruitland again.
Okay.
And then, the paving contractor's gonna help me out a little bit as far as, they didn't take their milling far enough, so in the morning, we got a meeting. He's gonna mill to where I need to get access to the water line. And then they will start putting the water line in. They should have everything done by, the guy said Wednesday, it might be Thursday, but we'll still be ahead of schedule. It is gonna, gonna cost the city a little extra money, $108,744. But
I'm sorry, Mayor, I didn't hear the amount. The door was opening and
If
shutting.
you would repeat that. How much?
$108,744. We are gonna try to get that down some by using some of the material we have in stock. They told me we could. And that's really about it. I mean, this is part of the CDBG. That has taken a while. It is all permitted, ready to go. Jason Shepler said it's no problem. He said we can start the project. We're just either gonna have to take it out of repair and replace, or either out of, better place plan.
To be reimbursed?
To be reimbursed.
Yes, ma'am. It'll be reimbursed once we start the project, or once CDBG starts, we'll get our money back. And that way we'll be able to put it into the repair and place, which if we have the money in there, that's where I think we should pull it from. That way we don't mess with the, better place plan money, in case we need it, starting
Yes.
next Wednesday. Hopefully we don't. You never know in Crescent City, but that's what we gotta do.
Okay, and by doing it this way, it's my understanding this will keep us from having to go into residents.
Yes, if we don't do it, then we're gonna have to slow the project down, apply for easements from the property owners, because when they originally widened the road in the 50s, in the 50s, they made it, 2-lane with parking. They took all the right of way away. There's not much. 68, okay. And then 68 is when they did it. So we have about this much on one side and maybe this much on the other side. So, and that would prolong everything.
Yes,
And
Commissioner.
I just wanted to review so that everybody really knows what we're talking about. The CDBG grant is to do the water main from Central Avenue to 308, but then there's a portion of it that goes down 308, running ties into.
Yes, sir. It goes from Oakwood to Highway 17. We will stub a line out on Main Street for the future to go as far as we can with the money we got. We're actually gonna start at Main Street when we actually get the money. That way we'll go as far as we can. That way if we decide to build the fire station at the property, we'll be able to hook in and have the, water we need. So,
So this is just getting part of that done sooner because.
and then I think we actually we put the rest of because the CDBG wasn't high enough, that we put part of it in this coming appropriations.
Correct.
Okay. We'll be able to get it finished.
So this will just be getting that part done though, so before the paving contractor gets here.
Yes, sir.
So we don't have a big old patch, and they're not gonna let us do it anyway if we did.
Right.
We have to go
Right, we
the
don't want
alternative.
that, I
Right.
mean, you know,
We don't
we've got a
want to
brand
do
new.
Which honestly, if we did have to do that, that would actually increase the contract cost versus doing what we're doing right now.
And of course, the county basically said that they were not gonna let me cut the road.
Right.
Once they paid it.
Okay, so you're gonna need a motion from us. Yes, Commissioner DeVito?
If I could, Commissioner Lori clarified part of my question, he got the project described, but could I get from Mr. Harris, where are we starting and ending this is under the road drilling on 308?
Well, it won't be now. We are gonna open cut.
Okay,
Because even if we were to directional drill, I still gotta cut the new asphalt if they pave it before we get the line in.
okay, what I'm saying is, where are you're cutting the road?
Oakwood to 17, and then where we put the new lift station in, they're gonna stub a line across the street for that commercial property. They're gonna stub a line across the road, and then we'll stub a line down Main Street for when the CDBG actually starts.
So it's just like.
It's approximately 800 linear feet.
This is 800 feet, well, roughly 800 feet of pipe from Oakwood to Highway 17.
From Oakwood, but the pipe is going down the middle of 308.
No, it's gonna go in the parking lane.
Okay,
Yeah, we have parking on 308, and they're probably gonna hug about 2 foot, 3 foot off the curb.
okay, so you say you're gonna start at Oakwood and then go to 17 where the blinking light is?
No, where the kangaroo is, there's a fire hydrant right there in front of the kangaroo,
Yes,
and we're gonna tie in right there, that way it'll be a loop system.
okay, and then, so we're approving $108,000 for you to open up 308 and run pipe down it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you running the pipe down Main Street also?
We're just gonna stub out.
What-
Not at this time with this.
Yeah, we're
not
just gonna
ready.
stub out maybe 25, 50 feet. We're gonna cap the line with a valve. That way, when the project actually starts,
Right,
they can pick up from there and take off.
Because you're gonna have to put bids out for that project, correct?
For the, yes,
But this one is an emergency,
This is
it's
an
my
emergency.
understanding with the companies you reached out to, there was only one that could do it in this timeframe.
We got a no, they couldn't make it, and we had a company that did not respond. And the only one that responded was able to be there starting on Monday and gave us a quote to do the work, which is part of the overall contract.
Right.
It's not an additional cost to the city.
no, we'll get reimbursed.
We're just,
Once the CDBG starts, we will get that
We're just
108,000.
jump-starting.
right.
pre-project.
Pre-project,
Right,
we're just
I heard
jump-starting.
you say that, so this is an emergency, but what I don't know is, for the project as a whole, there are supposed to be protections for the heritage trees, for the work that
There
will be
is.
done.
There is no heritage trees.
There's no heritage trees
No, ma'am.
involved here. Okay,
There's few rain trees.
because if you're talking about Main Street, there are heritage trees on North Main.
Yep,
It's not.
and they are working around all of them when the actual project starts. That's,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just wanna make
That's
sure we know.
different from
Totally
what we're
different.
doing, that's
Right.
different from this.
Yeah, this phase has nothing to do with trees.
Yeah, just.
Okay.
It's a three-way version.
We're just trying to get this line put in,
Sure.
because if we don't, then I'm not sure how we're gonna get this line put in if they won't let me cut the road.
Yeah.
And I really don't wanna cut a brand new asphalt road because I've been waiting for it like everybody else has.
Right. Well, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm glad, and thank him also for reaching out to us and letting us know. So commissioners,
So we need a motion.
Yeah.
And do we,
Appreciate it.
we need a motion to authorize the expenditure of, what, do we want $108,000, 744?
Yes, ma'am.
Or, okay, do you want a round amount, like $110,000?
Yeah, we can do that, just to be on the safe side.
Right,
I
so,
mean,
can I, before we get started, as part of that motion, can you amend the agenda just that for this emergency item?
okay. I move that we amend our agenda for the evening under business items to entertain a motion concerning emergency expenditure for the CDBG water main project preparation.
Second.
We have a proper motion and a second. Commissioners, do we have any? Madam Clerk, if you would do a roll call for us, please.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Wory,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. Okay.
Thank y'all.
So wait, we're not done?
That was just a.
That was just the
That was
agenda.
just the agenda, so that if there was ever any question that we have with this large, especially with this large of amount, that we've made it an emergency item on the agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
So now I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, well, let me make a stab at it. So I move that we authorize the expenditure of $110,000, up to $110,000 from our, this is our water repair and replace fund.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the water repair and replace fund, I guess, to, on an emergency basis, lay pipe for the CDBG water main project for North Main, under 308 from Oakwood to Highway 17. And hopefully to be reimbursed from the CDBG funds when that project as a whole comes up.
I'll second that.
We have a proper motion and a second. Commissioners, do we have any discussion?
My only question is, we do have that.
That was
And the
my
water-
question.
water-
Do we have that for sure in the funds? Do we need to add in there that anything for between that and Better Place?
Yes, I would, just to
Okay,
be on
I
the
was
safe
just
side.
thinking that. So Commissioner DeVito, you might want to.
I would amend my motion to say $110,000 as far as possible from the water repair and replace fund, with any deficiency to be taken from the Better Place fund.
I'll re-second that.
We second that. Okay, Commissioners, if there's no, do we have any public comment on this? Seeing no public comment, Madam Clerk, if you would please do a roll call.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Commissioner Wory,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. Okay, so approved. Thank you.
Thank you all.
for doing that.
Thank you,
Thank you for taking care of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Keith. Next line of business is going to be, we're gonna just have a discussion. Mr. Dave Frank, our director of the Crescent City Gas Department is here to talk about Florida Gas Transmission owned 0.9 mile section of gas main. We discussed this a while back. The commission had voted to allow me to entertain or at least move forward in this process to investigate if there was an actual cost, if there was a value to that easement, and to negotiate if so with FPNL for the purchase of the entire easement. In discussions with them, they only wanted a section of the easement. I spoke to the FPNL representative along with Mr. Frank, and we told him that we needed him to take the entire easement if they wanted a part or a section of that. And that easement also had a gas line, an existing utility line that was in there that had been abandoned for a number of years. there's a liability in there as well, which is the removal of that gas line. We haven't been ordered by the DOT at this point, but we will, and that could be up to around $60,000. Removal of pipe going through wetlands. People have built out into that easement over years and time, so we'll be basically dealing with residents and taking fences down and all kinds of things. So with that being said, Dave, if you could pick it up, I'd like you to fill them in on where we're at with that.
Sure. As you said, this section of pipe was originally built in the early 60s when they were building our gas system. FGT, it wasn't called FGT at that time, but now it's Florida Gas Transmission. They own that section of pipe. It was our gas that was in it, but they owned the pipe. Back in, early, about 1993, somewhere in that area, that section of pipe had what was called a rectifier on it. That kept the corrosion off of it. FPL, their fuel tanks, if you remember, they used to have all those huge oil tanks in there. It had a rectifier on it too. And what the rectifiers did was it kept corrosion off of our pipe, kept corrosion off the bottom of their steel tanks. Well, there was some conflicts between those two. You don't want two pipes with rectifiers to get close to each other because it'll actually destroy steel. So there was an issue. So for some reason, FGT approached the city and said, we'll sell you that section of main for $10, because it's your gas, because their pipe. They wanted to unload it. Well, the city went for it. So for $10, we purchased it in 1993. But then back in 1997, when we put in the new gas main across the highway on the other side, the one that y'all complain about because we're still paying for that pipe, we therefore then abandoned this section of pipeline. There's no gas in it, it's abandoned, but it's still sitting there. So I talked with FGT, talked to them about this problem and everything, talked with FGU. I sent over what FPL sent over to me as far as their legal documentation of what they're proposing, their legal write-ups. I sent it over to FGU, and their legal department do not like how it's read. So they're going to implement stronger wording. Also, the fact that this pipeline is there. Because as Tom told me with FGU, okay, you're selling the easement, but basically you still own the pipe. I don't see really how that's legal, because if they bought the property and it's on it, you're selling it. But he says, no, doesn't work that way, because DOT could come in, or the environmentalists or whoever, and say, hey, that pipe needs to be removed. And as Derek was saying, that could cost as much as $60,000. Now, in conversation with FPL, they did state if they had to, they would remove the pipe. They had no problem with that. They would pull it. But their paperwork does not state that. So they want stronger wording in on this. Now, as far as how I came up with this amount of money, the strip is a little bit over 9/10 of a mile long, and it varies on average, I'd say 25 feet wide, which is basically useless because a lot of it's in the swamp. As Derek said, a lot of customers have built their fences out across this easement. So there's going to be a legal battle there if the pipe ever has to come out of the ground. Oh, you're destroying my yard, whatever. Well, it's not really your property, but it's a future, lawsuit waiting to happen. So I came up with the square footage of it, and then I divided it by the square footage of an acre, and it ends up coming up to just a little bit under 3 acres. So I proposed a price to them of $28,000 plus all legal fees and filing. I was also told them that you, the commission, would have to approve that. I just wanted to get the ball rolling because the budget's ending. We still owe FGU $9,500 for tree clearing. I had to have another $4,000 worth of emergency tree clearing done here 2 weeks ago because we discovered about a 60-foot pine tree growing directly on top of our high-pressure gas main. So, it had to be done for public safety. I told Jacobs Tree Service, the budget's ending, I don't have the money right now. He proposed to do it anyway, but he says, you've got to pay me, but I understand that money's tight. So he worked with us, the job has already been done. We have the bill and everything, but there's certain things that I need more money. I know the budget's tight, it's ending, so this is more way of getting the money to clear this year's budget before I drag this money into next year's budget, in the deficit. I don't want that, but once again, y'all have, it'll be up to y'all to approve this price. But we were gonna try and have this, easement evaluated. FGU went out there and were trying to get someone to evaluate the property, but the cheapest price he could come up was about $8,000 for them to appraise the property. Once again, we're at the end of the budget, the money's not there, what are we gonna do? He never could find anybody to do it any cheaper. So that's when I just came up with what I did, figuring out the square footage and everything and throwing a number at them, but as I say, it's strictly up to y'all.
So basically, FPL is willing to purchase that for 28K. They take all liability and responsibility for that pipe. And you're saying out of that 28K, that'll pay for the 9,500, that'll pay for the 4,000. Did we have to have this thing, did we have to have, not an appraiser, but did we have to have a surveyor or something come out? And that was $8,000?
Well, that was just to have it appraised, but that's why I told FPL, I was giving the price of $28,000 plus all legal and filing fees, because they have a monster staff. And like I said, we have an hour by hour lawyer, not knocking you or anything, but I said, you have a major legal staff. They do this all the time. So I said, I'm putting all that on y'all. I don't want anything to do with it. They said, no problem, we'd handle it.
Okay, so they're handling that, but basically the purchase price is 28K.
If y'all approve that price, yes, $28,000
And that will
plus
pay for all
expenses.
the things that I just mentioned.
And we'll still leave money over.
With a surplus. All right, and they will take responsibility of the up to $60,000 or more for that liability.
They will pay full expense to have it removed.
Correct.
If
If
an entity, DOT or somebody says it has to come out, or a future lawsuit in the future, they will pay to have it removed.
Okay, so that's a good deal.
This kind of grew and changed, and we were constrained with time, and then of course we had the other issues with the unknown. Originally, when we first talked about it, we were under the impression from our discussions that there was zero cost to give us a price on this. When Dave started digging in there and getting more emails and having that conversation, they came back and said 8,000. I told Dave, no way, we're not gonna pay $8,000. So let's look and see what land goes for, what things are going for, and be fair, and be honest with them. And, this is a $90,000 turnaround for the city. This is the way I see it.
And this easement, yeah, it's square footage wise, it's a lot of property, but it's so narrow.
Right.
It's not
It's
usable,
not
it's
usable.
not
Correct.
usable, so
Correct.
it's not marketable, so it's not
Correct.
marketable
And
except
a
for
lot of it is in a
utilities.
swamp area that
Yeah.
I'm sure they would have well, I won't say that, but anyway, it's in a swamp area.
The point is they're building a battery electric
They are,
storage plant there.
and they really
So
need the
they
space.
need to be able to go through there.
They only want a very small section of it, but I said, if you want, it, you gotta take the whole thing. It's always been on my mind for years. That's
So
why-
Yes, Commissioner Kavita.
If I could, for a motion, how do we describe this property? I'm trying to look in the city manager's report, but we're selling to Florida Power and Light, what is it, 0.9 acres?
0.9 miles.
0.9 miles. And how would you identify that?
I believe we have coordinates, but.
Yes, we have the full legal description of the property and everything.
But
It was
just
filed.
0.9 miles of our easement that goes along.
Highway 17. It starts where the old power plant used to be, and are you familiar where the old San Mateo seafood restaurant used to be?
Yeah.
That's where it ends.
Okay, well, it's.
Let's just keep it very simple.
Right, it's our
It's
0.9 mile easement that goes along Highway 17 that's no longer used. My main concern here is, I thought Commissioner Burton got to the heart of the matter and expressed it beautifully, but my main concern is that, if they're paying the full legal expense, if they're doing the paperwork and the filing fees, to me, we need to make sure that that contract says that they are taking all liability for removal of pipe without question, because to me, it's not so much the money we get as the exposure
The
than
liability.
the liability that we are transferring.
We had FGU review the original because we did put it on them to go ahead and create the information document. And when we got it, of course, FGU reviewed it, said it needs to be stronger. Once we get the finalized, we're gonna run it also by our legal counsel as well.
Well, and Tom wanted me to make sure that y'all are aware with FGU, he says, there is no charge to you for them to send it to their law group, get it all written up, that's all part of being a member of them, so.
We'll double check.
Yeah, so we just need to make sure, yes, because that is true.
Yeah, I mean, we're professionals here, right?
That's right.
Try to be.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay, all right, so ready for a motion?
Please, please,
Okay,
I do.
so, I move that we authorize our gas department, to sell the 0.9 miles of unused easement that we have along Highway 17 to Florida Power and Light for the amount of $28,000. Provided that FPNL also pays for all legal and filing fees, and as well that the agreement includes FPNL will assume full expense for any liability and removal of the gas pipe.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a proper motion and a second. Commissioners, do we have any other discussion? Okay, we have no other discussion.
Commissioner Burton,
Madam Clerk,
If we're voting.
Oh,
we're voting.
okay, I was gonna say, the last thing I heard was, do we have anything?
We're doing a roll call.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. Okay, so approved. Thank you, Dave.
All right, thank
We
you.
also need to, this is something else while you're here.
Sure.
We really need to go ahead and all of us, we need to pin down a workshop,
Yes,
a workshop on gas with Katie and Tom, just like we had said we were gonna do. We've put that off, I know, trying to get through budget, but I think
just time.
it's time and it's necessary, so, if you would work on that,
Sure. And I also, today, I received the rate study. Tom
Okay.
sent me his numbers, and I've asked him for a little bit more information, because some of our commercials, the numbers he's wanting to throw at our commercial customers. You have commercial customers, you think of big, then you have a church, it's a commercial. They don't use hardly any gas, so I said, we need to come up with some middle rate commercial charges, and he says, we can do that with no problem. Send him the rest of the numbers I need, it'll give him about a week, he'll send the rest of that, but the preliminary numbers, I have them all. And we're not too far off what we just proposed and passed.
Okay.
Not too far off.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Dave.
you, thank you, thank you.
All right.
Do we need to, this might take a little while, do we need a break, Commissioner Lloyd, do you need a break? Are you okay? So if that's okay, I'm gonna take probably at least reopen this meeting. I just want to explain something, real fast that we're working on. So there was a little bit of a hiccup, with, and Dawn has been in conversation with Leo on this. With the way our Palaca Daily News runs, if we had done this as an ordinance, our final budget as an ordinance, and she got it in, it would have had to have gone in the day of our last hearing, our first hearing. Did not happen, has to run for 10 days if it's an ordinance. We did run it, it has ran for 5 days in the Palaca Daily News, and Don brought it to our attention that it, as an ordinance, and he thought it was as a resolution that we were adopting our budget, that it had to run for that, at least that 5 days. We have met that requirement. So his recommendation is that the final budget that we accepted tonight, in order to follow within the statutory guidelines for a resolution, we need to adopt that budget as a resolution and not an ordinance. Correct, Leo?
Right, so in order to properly pass an ordinance, it would have to be advertised in the newspaper 10 days before its adoption. I believe these were published on the 20th of September, making it only 5 days, so it doesn't meet the statutory
But would for a resolution, but
For
what
a
is a
resolution.
resolution?
That would be the solution, changing it to a resolution, changing the language
Yes.
and the ordinances in order to meet the statutory guideline.
Okay, Mayor, I have a question.
Mhm.
Doesn't our charter require us to adopt a budget ordinance?
I thought, and that's what we were looking at, and Commissioner Lori, if you can find it, because we just went through the charter. Because
Or is it charter or state law?
no, state law, you can be ordinance or resolution.
Resolution, okay.
Mhm.
And then I just looked this up the other day to see if it did have to be an
And we
ordinance.
have
So what's the bottom line?
So the bottom line is they are right now changing our titles to resolution, and we're going to adopt our budget as a resolution.
Okay, so when do we adopt it as, the resolution's fine?
Yes, according to Don, the resolution is fine. And we will have met our advertising requirement.
And which one is it?
And I
is
think
it
we'll
one
do
in
that in the
particular,
future
or
if
is
we
it all
can,
the
if there's
ordinances that we just,
No, I think everything else should be,
ordinances? Should be,
There were 3 ordinances,
oh, there were 3
or
ordinances.
3 ordinances, 1 resolution.
Yeah.
so it's all the ordinances that we've, correct, all the second ordinances that we've read tonight, is that correct?
Correct. 09,
10,
10,
11.
and 11.
Well, the first one, the 06 is a resolution,
Right.
10, 11, and 9. Okay, so they'll all have to be changed to resolutions. Do we have to retake the vote? Okay. Well, let's get this done. This is,
Well, they're trying, Commissioner Burton, they are trying.
So I guess we can't let Chief Ray.
Well, I'm gonna make sure, see where they are, and if not, I'm gonna ask Chief to go ahead and get started, because he's got to travel too.
Right.
everybody's.
Yeah. And these are requirements for the ordinance.
You know, it's difficult with, we like to do that, our news only being out 3 days a week. It makes it very, very difficult to do what we need to do with that newspaper. I think we're gonna have to change some, that's where it was. And put these things
Cover, no matter.
somewhere where, you know.
Okay, Chief Razor, you gonna turn it over to me?
All right, let's get it.
Set the service or your charges.
Okay.
Authorize borrowing of money. So that one is a grant, for the fee,
The fee,
that has to be by ordinance.
that has to be by ordinance.
All right, let's go, let's, keep going.
Commissioner Burton, I'm gonna ask you please just be patient, that nobody did this, we were trying to work, we gotta work through this a little bit.
It also says
So,
to provide for the appropriation of funds or to amend an appropriation already made. Has to be done by ordinance.
That's ordinance.
for our charter.
I was pretty sure. It's the fees, the fees and appropriation of funds are ordinance.
And also, yeah.
So Leo, if you would step out and talk to Dawn about that with that language. I thought that's why we had probably done that, that's why they were looking at the charter. So if you would,
Say that again. Repeat.
It's,
Can you give them a site, BJ?
yeah, I mean, it's on meeting code for
Right.
section 217, which is the part about ordinances, resolutions, and motions,
2.17.
2.17, and then that's number,
and that's in our charter, correct?
Yes, 2.17 of our charter.
clause D, and then it's under clause D, numbers.
D4 and 7?
No.
Yes, D4, user fees,
Yeah,
And
and
then
D7,
appropriation of funds.
Okay.
So 2.17,
mhm,
D4 and 7.
yes.
D 4 and 7.
Yes.
And I'm still pulling it up, but what does that say?
It says, that by ordinance, you have to by ordinance set service or user fees, or
That's
certain user charges for municipal services or granting administrative authority for such charges. And then 7 is to provide for the appropriation of funds or to amend an appropriation already made.
And that's our budget.
So that, you know,
Okay, so if you could step out and talk to Dawn about that. Okay, go ahead. We always keep it real here in Crescent City, that's for sure.
In short, the city manager said that he had sent a message basically outlining what I'm here trying to do with the department. For those of you who may or may not know, we did have department protocols that were dated back in 2011. They're extremely out of date, so he tasked me to make a new protocol, which I've done. In the process of doing that, my assistant chief has also retired, as everyone here knows. So tonight I'm here to go over the assistant chief protocol and the protocol on promotions, because the existing protocol that's dated 2011 has nothing stating anything about protocols whatsoever, or promotions whatsoever. So I have an outline on that. I'm not exactly sure, I know that Commissioner Vito had reviewed it and had a couple of questions about the protocols, but basically, in short, I'm trying to get my protocols approved so I can fill the position.
And that's you're trying to fill the assistant chief position, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Does, everybody has that in front of you, do you have any questions on this? Commissioner DeVito, you said you had some questions.
I did, and I think that the chief provided answers, but I didn't get them on my email, so, but most of them are quick. So it's my understanding the assistant chief is an important position, but this is an unpaid position.
Yes, ma'am. The reason it's written, so it's chapter 6 and chapter 21 of our protocols.
Right.
The reason it is written that way is because I have day staff that are currently paid.
Got it.
So if one of the day personnel were to qualify for the assistant chief position, they would still be paid what they are currently paid, so it's more of a reclassification for them. If a volunteer was to qualify for that position, they would not be paid. It's
Okay, but we're not creating a new position.
correct, no, ma'am.
That, I asked that during the budget process when this first came up, because I just wanted to make sure I understood what was going on. I got that.
They would not be paid as a volunteer, but they still would be paid as a volunteer with their,
Yes, ma'am. They would
as
still
their
get
current
their-
volunteer
so
pay.
it's no change.
Okay,
Just
so
to
there's
get
no
their
change.
incentives and their hours.
Right, so basically, assistant chief is more responsibility, but you're paid whatever it was you were
Yeah.
otherwise doing.
Yeah.
Correct.
But
Okay,
it's,
which,
it's a title,
Yes.
it's a title.
Basically, it's somewhat, if I'm on vacation, sick, something happened, to someone to leave the department to like that.
yes, no, we remember, we remember. And then, the chief explained to me just what the term knockdown meant. I had a question about that, and he explained that. That was really all I had, and I did notice in there, that in the, to hire a chief or an assistant chief, they had the mayor as part of the committee before it came. So have we always done it like that?
I don't know, I know that we did it that way this time, I know that was how they did it, so I guess that's probably the last one they hired was Chief Highfield and Highfield.
That's,
So that's been some time ago, so I guess that's how they've done it, because that's how this one was done.
correct, that's the way I understood it, so that's how I carried it over.
And I did sit in on the interviews, but I was not part of the selection. We did that here as a commission, and I allowed them to take care of that, and
Right, because I was gonna say, it's otherwise a staff committee.
Yeah.
Okay, that was all I had.
I made sure that they did that when they decided that I wasn't part of that decision, but I did sit in on the interviews. On 6.4, I would say that if nobody else has any at this time, that it says he. Yeah, and so I think to be consistent, it's the assistant chief, because it might be a she.
Yes, ma'am, and so I have the rest of the protocols.
Okay.
In the beginning of the protocol, that outlines that he or she, basically, he is just this space filler, but I can address that as no problem.
When-
Yes, ma'am.
And then, again, down in 6.6, the same thing. I think just to keep it consistent, the assistant chief.
Yes, ma'am.
Do y'all have anything, Commissioner Moore, Commissioner Burton? No. Okay. So do we have,
21 promotions.
yeah, my volunteer promotion goes, well, I had a question earlier, and chief appointed to the position with current standards and Florida State minimum qualifications as listed below.
So chapter 21 on promotions, I had to word this very carefully. We are governed by Florida State Statute 633 and Administrative Code 64E and J. Correction, I'm sorry, 69A and J. So I have to make sure that everything's written to meet the administrative code and the statutes and Florida law. There's like a three-way law battle there. So everything written in 21 comes directly from those, basically from what I decided from Florida Administrative Code and from Florida State statute. So I just transferred that over from there.
On one, let me ask you this, I don't know if there's a way to redo, I guess reword this, it says chief appointed, so volunteer promotion will go as follows, chief appointed to position. So chief appoints to position,
Yes, ma'am.
is that how it should read, or
For-
appointed?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
for-
For volunteers, the chief appoints to position.
Okay, so rather than appointed, it should be appoints, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's where I think that's where I was, okay,
And I apologize about typos.
No, that's okay.
It's just a rough draft.
that's okay.
But we're gonna approve it, I guess, with just any technical corrections
Yeah.
that are needed.
Scrivener's errors. Okay, we have,
I'll say, I'm relying on the chief. Are we ready for a motion?
I'm ready for a motion, when y'all are.
Okay. Well, I move, that at the request of Chief Razor, that we approve, his policy. What is the whole title of your policy? Just personnel policy?
This would be chapter 6
Just chapter 6 and chapter 21.
of the current fire department policy.
Yes, ma'am.
Right,
Is that
so,
correct?
Yes, the whole policy, like I said, I have the whole policy.
Right.
Right now, I'm just trying to get 6 and 21 complete so that I can make the promotion.
okay, so it's
Yeah,
chapter
that's
6 and 21?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so my motion is that, at the request of Chief Razor, we approve, chapter 6 and chapter 21 of his proposed departmental policies, allowing him to correct any typographical or Scrivener's errors. And substituting, instead of using he or she, using the appropriate type.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
So a proper motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any public comment? Seeing none. I'm gonna ask, can you do a roll call for us, please?
Sure.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Okay, so approved. I'm gonna, I think our next one is, or you wanna continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
I was gonna go on the next with the appropriations and locations.
Yeah.
Um,
We can do with Christina also. She can probably help out with that, with in Derek's absence.
sure.
Go ahead.
So we got the appropriations for the fire station in the total amount of $3 million. We've had a meeting, and the state does allow us to put all that money together. So, I am proposing that we find a different location to build the fire station. The reason being so is that the current location where the fire station sits is fairly small. I've walked it out multiple ways. What we are in need of for a fire department for Crescent City is a fire station with roughly 5 to 6 bays to house all the equipment that we have. So bays are drive-through garages, basically. Roughly 70 to 74 foot deep, and it'll be roughly 96 to 106 foot in length just for the bay areas, and then another 50 foot for the living quarters. With that being done on the current lot that we have, no matter how we turn the station, set it out, there's physically no way to operate a fire station and build a fire station at that same location. I found, or have been looking, there's 4 spots that in the city that would be ideal. I don't know how we could get these, not get these, at least wanted to bring it up for thought. One spot would be on the corner of 17th and Junction, the land that Mr. Irwin owns down there. To me, that would be the most ideal spot. It's on the south end of the city, which we need because the response times, it would help with insurance purposes, it would help with a lot of things. And it puts it right on 17 where we can go north-south, we can hit Junction and take the back road and go anywhere we need to go from that location. Another location is basically just a little south of that on the opposite side of the road where there was once upon a time a proposed RV site that's now vacant land. I don't know much about that. I know there was some expenditures put there. I haven't contacted anyone about that. Another site would be the current school off of 308. Building 15 on the corner is the newest structure at that location. It already has fire alarm, sprinkler system. The only thing that we would have to do there is build up on the existing building and add base to it, or build back and add base to it to fit all the equipment in there. But I would have to double check the footage. And then the last location would be off of Junction where the city already owns property. But I don't know how that would play out with the EAP and the water services and everything that we currently have in place there. I haven't been able to find any other locations big enough. We roughly need 2 acres of land to fit this facility that we have funding for. So that is my thoughts on locations. I think they would best fit for the city and as well as response times, getting apparatus in and out with the least amount of chance of having an accident, like apparatus pulling out and turning directions. Anything to add to that?
Christina, do you want to,
Brief the commission on where we are?
Yes.
maybe? Okay. So as you all know, we've been in the design phase of our fire station expansion. And you also know that we were awarded another $2 million in appropriations for the state for our building of this fire department. So being that we have the original 1 million, the additional 2 million, now we have 3 million to build a brand new fire department. So why not, instead of building onto the existing one and piecing it together in multiple phases, why not build one state-of-the-art facility for our station? So now we're in the midst of we're still working with the architect. He's aware, we've been having continual meetings. So now we're basically at the point where, as Chief described, that we need to identify a parcel, if that's the desire of the commission, and move forward with those funds collectively and build a brand new station.
Mayor, I
Yes, go
have
ahead.
a few questions. So I noticed, for the September 10th meeting, there was a copy of the legislative appropriation request in, the packet. I don't think I've ever seen the legislative appropriation request for the fire station. Personally, I would like to know more about this. It seems like the train or the fire truck has kind of already left the station.
Oh, no, not at all.
But, so, I see here, it says schedule a workshop. To me, I think that's what we need to do is schedule a workshop. Things that I think are important are, number one, seeing a copy of the legislative appropriation. Number two, having the timetable for the expenditure. And then the cost breakdown, because obviously if you're buying land, that's gonna take a chunk of the $3 million. The last time we heard from the architect that I recall, the 1 million was barely making it, and we had to take money from other sources to pay part of the architect's fees. So I guess schedule a workshop and gather together all the information we need to get the whole financial picture, and what's being planned for future versus the plans that we saw when we last saw it.
So it's my understanding that currently, because typically you have that 18-month window in order to get your engineering plans in and everything rolling, and then you've got 5 years to appropriate the full amount to build out, okay? What happened is because we got this additional 2 million and they haven't met with us first yet on the first million, the time clock has started. So it's just started for the entire amount of money.
So we have more time rather than less.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And so it started on the engineering. The good thing about that is we're already kind of ahead of schedule because we've identified in that first phase. The concern I think that I heard was that it's gonna be more efficient, more cost efficient, more efficient to build one station than to piecemeal the two stations to get the two pieces together. And if we do that, that means we would take down, by doing that, we would end up taking down our fire service here in town. So with that said, we also know that in order to purchase land, so when you put everything out there, we have to give them everything that we need for this. That's part of our part, is that we've got to list every single thing. If we were gonna have 3 refrigerators, we've got to list 3 refrigerators. If we're gonna have 3 toilets, we've got to list 3 toilets. I mean, everything has to be listed.
Okay.
When they do that, land is not part of that. However, given where we are, and one community has done this, we could go back and petition them and ask them if we can use a portion of that 3 million to purchase land. Okay? The only other option we might have, and this is just something for everybody to think about before we come to a workshop about it, and then to identify those spaces. I know I've spoken to you, I've spoken to former Chief Highfill, and while we do own the property over here on Junction's a narrow road,
Right.
it's still off the
Right.
main road.
Absolutely.
We're already moving an ambulance off the main road to the main road. So we're gonna really have to try to find possibly a site.
Sure.
And even if we had to go in and we had to possibly purchase a site, they didn't approve it, we had to purchase a site, we also have the ability when we're done to sell the current fire department.
Correct.
Right. So,
And so,
I mean, I would just point out, we have not so far had success selling.
Exactly.
We have not had success
Right,
selling,
I know.
and as well, the one thing I want to bring up is, this is really planning our city. I mean,
Yes.
A fire station is an important, it's a very important facility, and it needs to relate, wherever we put it, it needs to relate well, not only for service, but to everything else in the city. like, there are certain goals that we want to achieve that we've talked about before. We describe ourselves as walkable, and there's just a lot that goes into it, and maybe, I don't know, I mean, I would like to hear from the architect, maybe from Mark Corrett in terms of planning. We're not exactly planners. But I just think, you've got a great deal of the information there, but the rest of us have really not seen a lot of this. And we need numbers.
And that's why with the workshop, that's why they said with the workshop that we would have that. I think that's necessary. There is, the county is just building one, almost built one out, and I think it's like 1.7. That they've got on that one, and they've talked about the plans could possibly be used, and then we could alter whatever we need, Mr. Taylor could alter, however he needs. So I think we've got, and then also I think as we go forward, we might want to join with the sheriff's office might want to come into the conversation, because we could also, this could be our emergency, station, and they could also, I mean, I don't know, that's something that we could possibly talk about.
And a couple other things, if you don't mind, just to kind of help ease your mind a little bit, the way it's currently set up, if we were to build a building in the parking lot and it was to connect to the current building would have to be brought up completely to code, fire alarm would have to be refed.
We've had a description of that building several times.
Right.
Yeah.
But also to ease your mind, in the process of getting repairs done to the station, there are multiple people interested in purchasing the station.
Yes.
So that is something that has come to light recently. So, and that's the reason, the whole talks of possibly moving it and getting a better location and keeping it on the main drag where everyone can still see it, as part of the city would be a great idea.
Well, see, my problem though is when you purchase a piece of property right on the corner there of Junction and 17, or you purchase a piece of property across the street that one time was going to be RVs for, but these are properties that could actually be developed into something that would bring tax dollars in. And I think that we have to keep that in mind. Now, the school that's already there on 308 brings those tax dollars in already, so it's.
Well, that's a whole nother issue that we haven't dealt with,
But
and
I'm
we
just saying,
need to.
I think we need to, as we plan, we also need to plan to hopefully bring in more people for a larger tax base. We're only 2 square miles.
Right.
So if you just keep chunking away and taking all this property away for areas that don't pay any taxes, I don't think it really helps the tax base very much. But anyway, we'll bring stuff, like I said, out.
And I guess Commissioner Lori, you're the mayor
Yes.
now. May I be recognized to respond to Commissioner Burton? That's one reason I thought, we might want to hear from Mark Carrot, the planner, because we're talking about space and, you use it for one thing, and then what do you do with the rest? If you're using part of a space, what do you do with the rest of it? How does that impact what the rest of that could be used for? So, a lot to consider, and thank you for bringing up that.
There is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's more than just, we want to build a building.
That's
Where are we going to
It really does
plot
have
it?
to be planned, and it has to be planned so that,
Why we're gonna have a workshop.
and one thing that you said, that we have not had good luck selling, our parcels and things that, they just kind of sit there, so
So,
this
anyway,
is something we gotta keep in mind.
right, and so,
Yeah,
thank
just
you.
to kind of wind things up, obviously, we need to have a workshop. My one question I would ask is that I noticed just from looking at it, recently having a conversation with a citizen, that's 0.9 miles south of where we currently are, where the station is. How does that change your time, your response time? I mean, because when I look at it and you look at the city, the fire department is in the dead center, basically, of the developed part of town. Now, I know the south, there's a lot of land there that would probably be developed in the future, but how does that really change your response time? I mean, is that like a minute more, or is it?
It does a couple of things. So, and this is what I was gonna bring up to keep in mind as well. Our trucks are 8 foot wide and there's 68,000 pounds of light in it, plus 1,000 gallons of water, 8.33 pounds per gallon. So we got a lot of weight we're trying to move. So that's why I was trying to keep it on the main road. It's nice to have on the back roads, but with that truck, I'm trying to get it down. So that's problem number one. To answer your question, from where the station sits to the county line is roughly 6 miles, and beyond that, we gotta wait for Volusia County to come up. So if we get pulled out of the city, there's zero fire rescue help from Georgetown to Satsuma, our next closest response time. I understand that the city limits are here, but I can't help but feel the people south of us, we are the only hope and help that they have. And it's our job to protect them as well. That 0.9 miles, it's minute, it's 25 seconds if that. It's response time from here to there, especially if we stay on the main road.
Right.
We just pull it off and accelerate. There's no curves, there's no stop signs, there's no, shifting of the trucks, it's just a straight line.
Yeah, no.
So time response is really minute at that point.
So I think as we go forward, we'll schedule this, we'll get this scheduled as a workshop as soon as we all possibly can. I know we've got several of us have some travel issues. Commissioner Burton, I know you're traveling, I'm traveling next week. When are you traveling?
Oh, dear. I leave on the 10th of October, and I'm not back until the 24th.
Who is available the week of, the 6th through the second week of October?
Well, and there's, I don't know, I was hoping to go for 2 days to the redevelopment conference. Which is the second week of October, is that the week we're meeting?
It's 6th to the 10th, yes, we have our commission meeting on that Thursday, the 9th. So I know everybody will probably be here for that.
Right.
Mike could even do it earlier that day.
And to me,
Wednesday, the 8th, I'm good.
well, I cannot do Wednesday the 8th. I can do Monday the 6th or Tuesday the 7th. And then you said Commissioner Burton's leaving,
She's trying to send it to all of us.
on Friday the 10th.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, to me, this may take more than one workshop. I mean, you were out of the room, Commissioner Lori, facilitated more discussion.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we should have comment from, Mark Carrot, because we're talking about planning issues here.
Let's say the 7th to start. I'm good on the 7th, that Tuesday.
That Tuesday, I could that afternoon, I could not that morning, but I'm available that afternoon.
Is that on the 7th?
Yeah.
7th.
So if we want to do something
The afternoon.
about 1 o'clock,
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
would 1 o'clock be good for everybody?
Yeah.
What about you, chief?
Right.
And 1 o'clock, Christina?
On the 7th,
Yes.
okay.
Is the room open?
I believe so. Yes,
Okay.
1 o'clock.
Okay, so we'll schedule it for 1 o'clock, and we'll just make sure we reach out to Mr. Taylor and ask him to be here, and possibly Mark, and if Mark can't be here, we can Zoom him in, maybe,
okay.
and go from there. This is exciting, I think, for our city,
Yeah.
and I'm in agreement. I think, if this is gonna be our emergency center, and we don't wanna tuck it, so,
I agree.
And you're actually gonna have a helicopter back?
That's something else.
That'd be cool.
I can't help but feel it's a necessity. Being stationed down here, driving someone to the hospital roughly an hour to keep someone alive for an hour is extremely difficult, especially depending on the state of which they're in. To have an access to a helicopter pad that we control, not having to worry about construction or I don't know what's on it, I don't know what you're doing today, something that we actually control and can, set up, move people in and out, I think would be a necessity.
Cool.
Yes, ma'am.
in the meantime, Christina, can you, and I guess you and Keith and Mr. Taylor and Chief and Derek start pulling together any vacant property that this would be suitable on,
Yes,
and so that we have that for the workshop?
got it.
Because I think, the ball's rolling now, and so we really need to, figure out, because the other thing is when we put in, we've got to give a physical address. That is the one thing I know with appropriations, when you're doing this, a physical address for where something's going to be located has to be part of it. So we have to show ownership. We have to show some sort of ownership. So I don't mean the physical address, but I know you always have to show ownership when you're doing through these appropriations, so. Anyway,
So, one more question, with Mr. Baldrick's property, do you envision with the base opening on 17?
The junction, yes, sir. Basically, we would come in on junction, which would give us time to turn into the station and then.
So I know that's an issue that we've had with this.
Very much so, yes.
okay.
I have one more thing that, I
No,
feel.
you're done, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One more thing I feel the commission should be aware of, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to take your time.
No, that's okay.
The state has set a mandate where we changed our reporting for calls that we run. On every call that we run, we have to send a report to the state, which gives accountability for our fire station. We have ran on a system called NIFRS for a year. It's the basically it's a 4-quarter reporting system. Effective, January, they're changing to what's called a mirror system, starting in January. The state of Florida has been put on a schedule to start that October 1st. I've taken 4 weeks to work with this Florida State Fire Marshal and get our department set up. We are now set up to report to mirrors. The reason I'm bringing it up is now that we are set up through mirrors, there is a way, which I'm just now learning, for every call we run, we should be able to get reimbursement from the state as well. I'm not exactly sure the ins and outs of it yet, because the program doesn't take effect for another week. But once the program takes effect, I'll have more updates for that, so we should get additional funding from the state off of that program.
That's awesome.
Working on that, yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
And it also allows us to put money toward education classes. So,
Right.
just wanted to give y'all a heads up on that.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Ward, I have one more question.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so is it possible, Chief, that what you just said to us about the new system? Because I'm just hearing like an acronym, could you write that down for us in a little memo?
Sure, I can send you emails with it.
Send it to the city manager and he can share with us,
Absolutely. Yes,
so, we'll have a more clear idea.
correct.
But the bottom line is it means more funding that comes through the state.
As far as I understand, like I said, it's a state mandate. It's actually a national mandate, because the way it was before is California would report to a system, Florida would report, they all had their own systems. Basically all the states got together and said, we're gonna report to a single system so we can track near misses, we can track structure fires, we can track. So they agreed to a new system. On that system, it allows us to say that we ran X amount of calls to where we didn't get funding, say that people didn't have Medicaid, Medicare, there was no way to pay, the state will reimburse for the calls that we ran. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how it all works because it's not running yet.
We won't limit you to it.
Right, but,
So that sounds good.
yeah, if you could just update the city manager that you could share with us the actual name of it, and that way the next time we see it, we'll know what it is. And I don't know if you have a copy of the station, they had a copy in the back, I don't know if it's all consumed before you head out.
No, I'm good, thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay,
And have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
thank you.
Thanks for waiting.
Yes, ma'am. No problem.
And after that, I guess,
Patience than I do.
the next thing on the agenda is a special magistrate update. I guess Pam, you're on deck.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Special magistrate held a meeting on September 23rd, and I guess everyone knows the tree was trimmed out here without a permit. The special magistrate ordered the Wild Green Solutions, which is the company that actually did the cutting, a fine of $750, which they paid Tuesday after the meeting. The Landwear Construction, which is people that wanted to move the equipment through our town, the special magistrate fined them $5,000, and they'll be sending a check next week.
Okay.
And that was for cutting the 2 limbs off on September 14th, which was a Sunday,
Right, without a permit.
without a permit.
Right, so, good work. Thank you. And I didn't know how other people found out about this, but I was on site, I got a text about it, and it's my understanding that they had to be tracked down from my photograph of the license plate. They were being sneaky about it, and they didn't tell any of us actually who they were, right?
I don't think they did. The license tag came back to an outdoor,
Right,
gator outdoor, which,
right, they were totally, apparently they told another citizen, we found out at the Rotary meeting, they told them that they had a permit. They told several people they had a permit, and they did not, so, anyway, thank you for tracking them down.
I've been in contact with, the Florida Department of Transportation, Kenneth Cheek, and he stated that he's checked with everyone in the district and no one called about a permit.
Right,
Uh,
I can't see how, a bunch of people can come in and cut a tree without something saying that somebody said you could do this.
Right. I think that's why.
Something sounds fishy to me, but,
Which is why they did it
I
on
guess
Sunday.
it's, I don't know.
well, that's probably why they did it on Sunday.
well, the analogy is that the subcontractor was just trying to get away. They were trying to do it quick and dirty, take their fee, not get the permits, just like, if you call the plumber or the air conditioning person and they tell you that, the contract says we'll do the job and we'll get the permit, but they leave out the permit part. These people did apparently, that they just left out the permit.
I see.
But fortunately, our code still says you need a permit not just to cut down a tree, but to prune a heritage tree. If it only said cut, they would not have been subject to a fine for chopping a huge limb off. But anyway, y'all did a great job, and it turns out we never really would have known about this if Miss Tricia Bratton had not been out walking her dog Bobby, because she saw something and she said something. And I'm hoping that the city manager will give a certificate to Bobby because he was an integral part of this effort. He was the start of the chain.
Mr. Longstrong.
He was our watchdog, yes,
She was at the meeting on Tuesday and did testify.
right, because she actually spoke to the people and,
Right.
so, yeah. But there was, yes, Bobby the watchdog.
Great job that we.
Other questions about the special magistrate meeting?
We appreciate your work and
Yeah.
chasing this down. And then we were making lots of phone calls and everybody was working very hard on this, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Well, and, people should not think they can come to Crescent City and just do whatever they want,
Exactly. Especially when it comes to our trees.
or just, drive over our curbs, you name it.
Yes.
Okay, well,
Be on watch, everyone, we're looking out. So now what's left on the report? What's left on the agenda? The city manager report. What's that?
I think we're at a moment, maybe I'll check in with the team and see where we are.
okay.
Yeah, because the only other thing that's on here is my legal fees, and I don't have to recuse myself. It's the last one though.
Okay, so I had a question about that. I asked, to me, if that's payment of legal fees, that should have been under business items. The city manager wasn't really clear what,
I'm there.
I wasn't sure whether we were paying a fee or not.
Are we on your legal fees?
Yes,
Okay,
we finished everything else.
okay, good job.
No,
Thank you.
that's what-
Thank you.
Sorry, my pleasure.
Okay,
Cam did a great job.
And
okay. So we've got right now, so we have your legal fees, and is this your final legal fees? I'm not sure because it was my understanding as of yesterday. Have they filed with the Supreme Court?
I know,
Okay,
so I mean, that's.
so it might not be your final, but it's where you are right now.
Yes, it's where we are. This was everything, including the last contact that I had.
Okay. Do we have a motion on this? Can I get a motion? A motion to approve payment?
I'll make a motion to approve payment. I don't have it in front of me.
It's
Right, I'm trying to find that invoice.
$140 for, Commissioner, Larry's, what is it for?
For
It's Bailey
Bailey
versus,
versus DeSantis and Moore.
Thank you. Bailey versus DeSantis.
And more.
and I have a request for Commissioner Burton if she could add this to her motion.
Okay, hold on, everybody. Yes, what,
Right, if she could add this to her motion, it's invoice 26477 dated September 1st, 2025. And I say add that because there've been so many and of very similar amounts.
So let me review this since it's now, in front of me. I know it's all talking
thank
about.
you.
So,
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to pay invoice number 26477. It's a, bill. Let me see here.
From the Chrysler Group.
That's what I'm looking for. Oh, wait up, okay. A bill from the Chrysler Group, to pay for, geez, I can't remember what you're saying here. Cost of client and litigation fees for Bailey versus DeSantis and Lord of $140.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
We have a proper motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
And then where is this coming out of the current fiscal year? And if so, what line item do we have funds available to pay that?
It should come out of the current fiscal year. And so, I believe we still have, where are we on, I don't have it in front of me, where are we right now in our legal?
We do
Our
have
legal
funds in our
accounts.
legal
We have,
and legal
we
fees.
did cover this?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So it would come out of that? Okay. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Can I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
I'm recusing myself and filing Form 8B with you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Hi, okay, so approved, thank you. I'm gonna give, if it's okay at this time, Commissioner, I'm gonna give us a little update on this. So what we, based on our charter, we do everything, our budget through an ordinance. The Florida statute allows municipalities to do it through either a resolution or an ordinance. Our charter though requires an ordinance. What we're going to need to do tonight, when we are going to need to do a reconsideration of our budget as the ordinance. And I just want to go through a couple of things with you. So first, if we can, I can get a motion for reconsideration first.
I move that we reconsider our budget ordinance 2025-10.
Um, 25-10 or 25-11.
We got three of them, so why don't we just,
Yeah, three of
why don't we
those.
do a bulk?
It's going to be, you're gonna do 2025-09.
2025-09.
And so, yes, Leo?
No, go ahead, sorry.
Okay. Do I have a second?
My motion to reconsider.
A motion to reconsider.
I second.
Thank you. A motion and a second. I'm gonna do a roll call.
We're reconsidering this for what purpose?
Well,
Like,
if
what's
you'll-
the end point?
If we can, because so we can approve it, after I've explained why we're going to approve it, how we're going to approve it. But we need a reconsideration, correct, Leo?
Correct.
Correct, so we need a reconsideration first.
You have this.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. I need a roll call if we can, please.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. Okay, with our current ordinance as we have, as we all know, the statute speaks to a typical ordinance as a 10-day advertisement, okay? It does not say that 10 days must be, before the first reading or the second reading. It's not specific on that. We have met that requirement, as far as a 10-day with our budget because it was advertised prior to this time. We've also had at least a 5-day advertisement that we have now. So in order for us to pass it, I'm being told that we need a 2/3 majority vote, correct, Leo?
Correct.
And I think we should be okay.
Yeah.
We should be okay. So as we reconsider, is there any language?
This isn't making sense. what
Right.
you're saying.
Yeah, it kind of is. Do you want to, it's more of kind of, under,
So what we have to do is,
Can Leo speak into the mic, please? I'm sorry. There you go.
so what we have to do essentially is an emergency procedure, just to avoid any, just to make sure that we follow the Florida statutory guidelines. An emergency procedure to pass an ordinance requires a 2/3 vote, which is what mayor's asking us to.
But we've already done that.
Yeah, well, we're gonna reconsider it because we don't,
we meet the requirements from an ordinance standpoint because we have advertised it. There's just differing opinions as far as do we need to do it the 2 to 5 days? Is it 10 days?
it's
It's the
supposed,
final.
and you have to excuse me, I haven't been here since June, but I believe the first advertisement was the 10th September, correct?
Before that, that was. our
Before that, it
meeting.
was before
It
that.
was 10 days before that.
It was before that.
Okay, so, and the budget has remained the same?
Yes.
So, but there was an amendment, right?
No, the amendment's different. That was amendment on our current. That was
Okay, right.
amendment on our current. So according to Dawn, that we do this, that we did a reconsideration of our vote, that we explain that this from a publication standpoint, and that we reconsider it and have a new vote.
Mayor, I don't understand what that is accomplishing. Are we enacting it as an ordinance once again?
No, it's gonna stay an ordinance, because
Okay,
by
but-
charter, we have to keep it as an ordinance.
Well, exactly, because that was my question, that we had to have an ordinance, we couldn't do a resolution, but are we adopting an emergency ordinance? Does that cure the shorter publication time?
It does.
It does.
It circumvents the publication time.
Okay, so what you're saying is we're gonna reconsider the original adoption of the ordinance, we're going to declare an emergency, and we are going to adopt our budget resolution on second reading as an emergency ordinance. And that shortens the required publication.
And that shortens it, and the only time,
Eliminates it.
Pardon?
yes,
Eliminates the advertising.
it eliminates it. The only time you cannot do an emergency ordinance is on zoning issues, land use and zoning issues. So we meet that requirement.
So do we also have this problem with the second reading of the fee ordinance?
We would have, we'd have to do all three of them,
Oh,
but,
wait a minute, the millage is a resolution.
no, I'm sorry, you're right. No, but we also have, we amended this year's budget too. And so that was under a second reading also.
Okay, all right, so we have, well, wait a minute, we have the budget, that's 2509, right?
Right?
Okay, then we have the fee schedule, that's 2511. And then we have 2506.
Right.
So you're saying each of those we need to
We're
reconsider
gonna have to reconsider.
and.
2506 is the resolution. That's
Oh,
No,
wait.
not
Not
2506.
2506, where's the budget amendment?
So what we need to reconsider
Okay,
is
different color.
2025-10, 2025-11, and 2025-09.
Okay, thank you.
And we're working on 2509 right now,
Yes.
2025.
Yes.
Okay,
So if we can,
let's,
and we've already We've already reconsidered that. I think what we should do though is we should start from the beginning and do another reconsideration and move through it with amending our original budget. Okay, so
Right.
I need a reconsideration on that one also.
Okay, because Mayor, I was gonna say, did we not do this in a particular order, like we did the fee schedule before we did the budget?
That's why I'm saying that we
Okay,
need
so
to
we're
get
gonna
it
take it
back.
from the top.
We need to take it from the top. So I need a
Got it.
reconsideration of 2025-10. If I can get a motion to reconsider 2025-10.
I move that we reconsider ordinance 2025-10.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a proper motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if you do a roll call for us, please.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. Okay, and now if we can, with that same ordinance, if we can get a new motion. And we're going to,
Are we going to reconsider the one first?
let's go ahead and let's do this one first.
And but the new motion has to declare, do we need a motion just declaring an emergency and then an emergency motion? No, but so we at least need an emergency motion. We can't just make the same motion.
And so we just motioned to reconsider.
We did motion to
We
reconsider.
already did that.
Right, but it has, so the next motion needs to be an emergency motion to adopt ordinance.
Exactly.
2025-10.
Yes.
Okay.
So if I can get a motion on that.
I'd like to move that we adopt emergency ordinance 2025-10, amending the budget for fiscal year 2024-25.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Does it have to be read by title again?
You can, let's read it by title. Let's do it proper, yes.
Second and final reading of ordinance 2025-10, amending the budget for fiscal year 2024-2025. An ordinance of the City of Crescent City, Florida, amending the budget for fiscal year 2024-2025, providing for administrative action, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Okay. We have any further discussion on this before I roll call?
I have one question. Oh, no, I voted yes. Okay, no, I'll ask it the next time. Nope,
Okay.
I'm ready to
Can
go.
we do a roll call, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Burton,
Wait a second. Do we have any public comment?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, see, no one
You're all
forward.
voting, right? You're all back this, okay.
Yep,
That's good.
okay, everybody
Commissioner
got this?
Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. Okay, so approved and adopted. So we're going to go, I need a reconsideration of ordinance 2025-11, which is our fee schedule.
I move to reconsider ordinance 2025-11, amending the fee schedule.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. Okay, so, I'm gonna need a motion on ordinance 2025-11.
I move that we consider emergency ordinance 2025-11.
Okay, can I have a proper reading, please?
Yes, second and final reading of ordinance 2025-10, amending.
Dash 11.
Oh, I'm sorry. Second and final reading of ordinance 2025-11, amending the federal schedule fee, or the fee schedule. An ordinance of the City of Crescent City, Florida, amending the schedule fees to be charged by the City of Crescent City for noise, natural gas, general reproduction services, business tax receipts, planning and zoning, special events, parks, code enforcement, water, wastewater, providing for repeal of prior fee ordinances and resolutions in conflict, severability, and an effective date.
Okay, I have a proper motion and I have a second. Do we have any comments?
I have one question. My vote on this was nay, so that would, if I vote nay again, that would make it 4/5.
That still meets a 2/3 vote. We have to have supermajority.
Right, but 4/5 is,
You need a 4/5.
Yeah.
That's
what, so 4/5 is sufficient,
Yes.
right?
sufficient, yeah.
Okay.
Do we have any public comment on this? Okay, seeing none. Madam Clerk, please do a roll call.
Commissioner DeVito,
Nay.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. Okay, so approved and adopted on the final reading of ordinance 2025-11. So now I need a motion on the final reading of ordinance 2025-09, which is the approving and fixing the budget.
I move that we reconsider our vote on ordinance number 2025-09.
We already did. Oh, we did that.
Okay.
We did that in the very
Just one.
beginning. Yeah, I just think,
Okay, that's-
I'm sorry. Commissioner Ward.
I move that we pass on second and final reading an emergency ordinance number 2025-09.
Okay. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay,
She can
which
have it.
which one got it? Was it Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Commissioner
can I please have a proper reading? Can I have a proper reading?
Yes, ma'am.
2025-09.
Yes, ma'am. Second and final reading of ordinance number 2025-09, approving and fixing the budget, and ordinance providing for, approving, and fixing the budget, setting the millage levy at 8.7164, allowing for general operations of the city and its various departments, approving and fixing budgets for special funds and debt service for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2026.
Leo, are we okay?
We're good.
We're good? You sure?
Was that the last one?
But yeah, we haven't taken it to a vote yet. I just want to make sure that
Please
we're,
let it be the last
that
one.
we're good. Do we have any comments here? If not, I'm gonna open it up for public comment. Public comment? Seeing no one come forward, Madam Clerk, if you would please do a roll call on the second and final reading of ordinance 2025-09.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
Nay.
Mayor Myers.
Aye, okay. So approved and adopted on the second reading of ordinance 2025-12. Okay, thank you all for this. This has been,
Kind of messy.
thank you for your patience with everyone. Thank you for your patience with this. Leo, thank you for, hey, we just threw you right in the pot of boiling water, you know? Nothing like it, just, that's how you learn, though, right? That's how you
Well,
learn.
I do have a question on 2511. I want to understand what the general reproduction services are that we do here.
Do you get photocopies?
Copying.
I know, it doesn't sound.
Okay, I just wanted to know.
General, yeah, that's where we are.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
I know we're all ready to go. I do want to give just a real quick update if you'll allow me that courtesy. Is that okay? I know, I just want you to know that, I finally, was contacted by, a Winn-Dixie representative.
Oh.
Yes. Aldi is still currently working on 224 stores that they're looking to format. We still don't know anything. He is sending it up the flagpole. I did speak to, Representative, South about this when he was here. And, he said that if we needed to, that he possibly could sit in on a meeting. I've asked them for that, if they could at least give us a meeting. Not sure they're going to. I do know that Crescent City has been on the radar, that they know that we're very concerned, Southeastern Grocers. Monticello, and I don't know if any of you are familiar with Monticello, it's in Jefferson County, right outside of Tallahassee. Monticello just went through the same exercise. And their leaders also did exactly what we have done, and reached out. Unfortunately, and I spoke to their mayor about this at length, and she said they've done pretty much everything that we have done. And unfortunately, they are now in the process of closing theirs down by the end of this month. And Aldi's is looking to close down for about at least 3 months there to do the conversion in Monticello. She said they were not successful. She also did state that Aldi's never did, as they have with us, that they never did reach out.
Wait, you heard from Winn-Dixie or Aldi's?
I heard from both. No, not from Aldi, from Winn-Dixie, Southeastern Grocers.
Right, because the way I understand this works, and earlier in their process in Monticello, I contacted their chamber person, who was the one who did the publicity, which I shared with y'all some months ago. What is the status of the petitions that we collected?
So, and I have shared with Winn-Dixie that our Southeastern Grocers, I shouldn't say Winn-Dixie, Southeastern Grocers, that we do have that. I believe we are maybe too short, and somebody asked me about it today, as a matter of fact, at least on our online petitions. And then we've got quite a few that are in writing. So he is aware, Southeastern Grocers is aware that we have that. I mean, short of just picketing outside of Winn-Dixie, I don't know. I guess we'll just wait in here as he sends us up the flagpole. But she said Monticello is having the same concern with them. Rather than employing a lot of their high school students, they employ a lot of their elderly employees, and Winn-Dixie did there, so.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give y'all an update. We're gonna wait and see. Like I said, he's sending it up the flagpole with Southeastern to see if they would at least contact us and be more in contact with us.
Okay, so Mayor, could I circle back to something I recommended when we first brought this up? I think in the event that they would get us a meeting, it would be helpful to be prepared. The chamber, I think it's chamber president or executive director, Laura Palace.
Laura,
She's not executive director.
she's the
The
executive
executive director. She suggested that we put together any proposal or economic incentives that we could have. I think that we should do that. But we can have, economic incentives, and she can advise us. She said she could advise us. I think, if you have an actual proposal, that would be better, because as I understand it, to remain in Winn-Dixie, Southeastern would have to agree to take us back.
Exactly.
Right, so we need a proposal, we need, a pitch to Aldi's as to why it's not in their best interest to convert us. And we need a pitch to Southeastern Grocers as to why it is good for them to keep us. And potentially, and Laura from the chamber can help us, put this together. We have to give them some actual reasons, including potential economic incentives.
It's my understanding, and that's fine, and we can do that, and we'll have to do a workshop, and we'll have to see what we can do. And we're gonna have to pull some information together. It's my understanding is not up to Southeastern Grocers.
Right,
This right now, it's in Aldi's hands.
Right, but Southeastern Grocers would have to agree to take us back. The other thing we could do, when we had this item on the agenda, some people who spoke said, could you please have a meeting on this after work hours? We could have a community meeting.
Right.
But also we could, which I think is a good idea because interest was expressed and we have the petition. We could add this as, we could meet on this.
We could do it in the evening. How about if we did it, planned on if we were gonna do it, we're gonna do it in the evening.
Right, but I'm saying to talk about, any pitch to Aldi's or Southeastern Grocers that would involve advice from our chamber, would October 7th be a day where we could discuss, possible strategies, whatever?
We could, if everyone wants to do that, at that workshop, we could definitely add that into the workshop. Or basically put that.
If I may. I would want to be excused
We're
from
gonna
that
be
meeting.
excused from that, so we would do it after the fact.
Yes.
So we'd do it after the other.
Because I don't agree with this, what you're doing. So, okay.
Well, I mean, you can just not come.
Well, that's
That
what I'm
will-
saying.
exactly, but I just-
But she wants to come as a commission, So therefore,
Yes,
our
right.
next meeting is.
So at the end of that, so at the end of the workshop on the fire department, then Commissioner Burton could be excused. It's also retail strategy, so that's basically what Laura said, is to reach out to retail strategies. We've spoken to retail strategies. And so we would probably pull them back into it, also if we needed to. So anyway, I just wanted to give an update. I know that everybody's been asking about it and, you know, it's,
And I had a couple of issues I wanted to ask about, but it is very late, and I think 3 of us are supposed to be in, Orlando tomorrow for the policy committee.
so with that, if we have nothing else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much for your patience, your time, staff. Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Leo.
Yeah, thank you, Leo. Thanks, Leo.
Might introduce yourself to us.
And what is this? What is this